Downtown Ottawa is our home this week for the Tim Hortons Brier. It's a battle of former teammates today in Ottawa. They won Briers and an Olympic gold together. John Morris, Mark Kennedy, and Ben Hebert. Kevin Cooey skipped Pat Simmons, Carter Rycroft, and Nolan Thiessen to a tankard in Kamloops. But a game of musical chairs 2 years ago saw Cooey join forces with Kennedy and Hebert, while Johnny Moe ended up landing on Team Canada. Now two of the top teams in the world try to edge their way closer to a playoff spot. Alberta, Team Canada, next. Welcome inside TD Place on Thursday morning. A battle between Alberta and Team Canada will ensue shortly, but let's take a look first of all what happened last night in Draw 13. Northern Ontario, the only undefeated team so far, had a couple of threes, and David, they are looking unbeatable at this point.
Well, they're certainly the cream of the crop so far. Brad Jacobs has played extremely well. They've had some breaks along the way, but all great teams need those, and they capitalize on them on every chance they get.
Newfoundland and Labrador, also one of the teams that is very much in contention. It went down to last rock in our feature game last night against Quebec's Jean-Michel Menard.
It did. This is another team that's playing just terrific with only one loss so far. Brad Gooch, who has an open hit for a win, and playing a hit instead of a draw to the forefoot does speak a little bit about the frost on the ice last night.
Now, very warm and wet conditions in Ottawa. We expect more today. Manitoba, also a team very much at a factor, just kind of quietly creeping themselves up, scoring lots late in the game.
Well, they are. They're very patient. They're not panicking when they're down. They were behind the 8 ball to BC last night until the 5th end, where they kept on putting pressure on end after end after end, waiting for a mistake finally from BC. When they get that, they got their 3 points, and they ran ahead after that.
So let's take a look at our standings at this point coming into this morning. Northern Ontario right on the top. No blemish so far. Newfoundland, we showed you the highlights. And if you look down 2 more, Alberta, Team Canada, that is our feature match. That 3 and 4 losses could potentially make a difference in what happens as we move forward. Good morning, Canada. You are not seeing Brian Mudryk and Kathy Gauthier this morning. I am Kathy Gauthier. Brian is a little bit under the weather. We look forward to him coming back this afternoon, and so we pulled you out of bed a little bit early. David Nadewin, your comments, first of all, as we look forward to the Alberta team. The last 3 champions have come from Alberta at this Brier. Thoughts on how they're playing so far?
Well, we talked about Brad Jacobs, and I think Kevin Cooey team looks very similar to that. Very patient, very businesslike, very few mistakes. The only thing I would say is from time to time, we see that communication issue pop up that we saw more last year. So I think to continue to be successful, they need to give Kevin Cooey the confidence to call the game the way he sees it.
Well, and only one more game for this Alberta team. After this, it will be Saskatchewan very much controlling their own destiny. Team Canada, though, we have talked a lot about this team. They can be very good, but we've seen some unquestionable focus challenges, Dave.
Well, that's true. I think we've seen Team Canada very similar to what we saw last year when they won the Brier. And then we've seen another Team Canada where there's lack of communication. They seem uncertain of what they're doing. And in some situations, just lack of execution. And this may be a result of not playing as much as some of the other teams that have been on tour this year. So if they can get back to the way they were playing early in the week and late at the end of last year, this could be a great game.
And only Ontario left for this team when this is done. Alberta, Team Canada should be a great match. We'll be back here to TD Place in Ottawa for the Tim Hortons Brier right after this.
Angle it back, move the red, far enough. Yes, you got him. Count him up.
We're experienced. We know what we have to do to win this, and you know, it's just about setting out to do that now.
Be always excited, in off, bang the red, move it in, fill it up, move the red enough. What a shot from Kevin Cooey.
You're still going to have to make some big shots here and there, you know, especially when there's so many good teams, so many good skips. But hey, it can't hurt if your team's playing great in front of you.
The 2016 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of Curling Canada. The 2016 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Ford of Canada, proud partner with Curling Canada for more than 20 years. By World Financial Group, helping Canadians have better financial futures. And by Sponge Towels Paper Towels. Nothing absorbs like it.
Here are the games on the ice this morning. The final full round robin day here at the Tim Hortons Brier on Sheet A. Ontario and Saskatchewan, we think 5 may be too many. If you lose, for sure it is. And even if you win, you have to hope. And then you have our feature sheet, Team Canada, Alberta, both teams very much in contention. One sheet over, Newfoundland, Labrador continuing to roll along, still wanting to make sure they're in a position to vie for first place. And on sheet D, PEI, Northwest Territories, very much wanting to stay out of that relegation for next year. And so the teams will welcome each other to the field. Very familiar names to each other, former teammates, very many of them. And now let's meet the teams, brought to you by Home Hardware, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Hi, I'm Pat Simmons, skip of Team Canada. Our lead is Nolan Thiessen, second Carter Rycroft, third John Morris, and we curl out of the Glencoe Club in Calgary.
Hi, I'm Kevin Cooey, skip of Team Alberta. Our lead is Ben Hebert, second Brent Lang, third Mark Kennedy, and we curl out of the Glencoe Club in Calgary, Alberta.
Team Canada will be throwing the red stones this morning. And the yellow belongs to Team Alberta, who after a couple of tries won the draw to the button. A couple of tries meaning that both teams hit the pin, and so they threw a second toss. How big do you think Hammer will be in this first and end game, Dave?
Well, I mean, it's always nice and a little bit of confidence, and kind of energizes your team when you start with that hammer, but I'm not so sure it's such a big deal. We see a lot of rocks in play end after end. I think both teams are going to play very aggressive and try and pressure the other skip to make some difficult shots early in the game, so I'm not so sure it's that big of a deal.
It's almost edge of 12, eh?
You're seeing Kevin Cooey right away throw up the corner guard. He's going to try and really pressure Team Canada early and score, score a multiple point end right off the bat.
Whoa, Mark, whoa, Mark, whoa, 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 whoa.
It's interesting. I'm wondering, Alberta was one of those teams that was not on the ice last night, nor were Team Canada, so they're used to the better conditions. Do you think part of it might be let's go while the ice is at its best?
Yeah, I think it is. We've seen the ice change, especially as the game progresses. They can obviously scrape and prepare it as much as they can before the game starts, but after the fifth end yesterday, we really saw changes in strategy in terms of skips not wanting to draw to the 8 foot for their point. They'd prefer to play that hit and stick, and a perfect example was Mike McEwen yesterday against Saskatchewan, playing a hit on one in the 8 foot to roll out and intentionally give up a steal instead of just drawing the 8 foot for one.
It is telling. There's no doubt about that.
Good guard, no one.
Top 8. No, it's actually top 12, I guess.
Yeah, top 12.
Talk about the great numbers at this Brier. They just seem to be getting better and better and better every year. And I know the teams are trying, to do a whole bunch of different things, but it's not that long ago since you and I played, and 95% for a week is still ridiculous when you think about how many chances you have to not be perfect.
It really is. It's amazing that the percentages are so high, and when you look at a player who's shooting 88% at second and they're 8th in the standings, I mean, that's hard to imagine. And we've talked about this. I think a sweeping is obviously playing a big part of it in terms of being able to improve the percentages and the shot-making ability of the players.
Now, let's go this way.
Normal weight.
We did a board yesterday morning, Brian and I, and it really looked at comparing the front ends. And even though the numbers are good, 87% is great for Carter, they were 9th and 10th and relatively low in the overall scheme. And do you think that's part of why the Simmons team has been on and off, or not so much?
Well, I mean, I think it's maybe part of it, but we've seen shots, and I'm going to say from John Morris and from Pat Simmons that are uncharacteristic. They'll have a great game. Pat is, I think, in the top 3 in standings as a skip statistically, and yet he's missed that one key shot from time to time that's really caused problems, and so is John Morris. So I do think it does rotate from player to player. You know, and sometimes they're just smaller differences. When they were playing Northern Ontario, they had a 3-point lead up to the first end. And Pat Simmons' last rock in the second end overcurled by 3 inches and gave Brad Jacobs that great shot for 4. So just such a small difference.
Good, Brent.
So a good chance for Team Canada to make the hit and roll behind the yellow guard and sit 2.
Easy normal. Wait's good. Wait's good.
It was at the World Championship several years ago that the 3 members of this team, Nolan Thiessen, John Morris, and Carter Rycroft, who at the time were skipped by Kevin Cooey, decided that they were going to make a change. Kevin wanting to build a team for the next Olympic run.
Yeah, it seemed like a bit of a shock to the curling world at the time when Kevin left that team, but the decision had already been made in his mind, and I actually had a lot of respect for the fact that he stuck to that decision and knew that he wanted to build this team with Brent and Mark and Ben working towards the next Olympic cycle.
Easy, Ben. Yep. Yep. Yes. Real hard, Benny. Real hard. Watch the roll. Watch the roll. Watch the roll.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Good.
Whoa.
That's fine.
Okay, that's a shot.
Good shot, Brent.
Shot, Langer.
Well, for me, I think the keys to Canada, and you did touch on this with the front end being a little bit lower in percentages, is that Carter and Nolan need to have a great game. We saw a small miss from Carter already, which has put their team in a little bit of trouble. They really need to have a strong game. And also just trust in Pat. I mean, when he's on, he is one of the best players in the game. Give him confidence. Allow him to play well.
That's great advice.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
In a lot of ways, I think that Alberta and Canada have a lot of similarities, and in particular, that communication and making sure that they give Kevin the same confidence that I just suggested they need to give to Pat. So don't try and overthink things and complicate it, but really allow Kevin to make the calls that he wants to. In addition, we talked about the ice changes, and I think that Alberta needs to be very careful to make sure they're in a strong position, that they don't get caught in an end where Kevin needs to make a draw to the 4-foot against 3 or 4 Canadian stones, especially later in the game.
Keys to the Game brought to you by World Financial Group, helping Canadians have better financial futures.
Whoa, whoa. Yep. I think so. Hard. Yes, guys. Right to it. Right to it. Hard. Roll, Kev. Hard, Kev. Go, go, go. There you go. Keep going, keep going.
Good shot. Good sweeping, Langer.
Great throw.
It's a pretty good shot. There's maybe, oh boy, maybe an eighth, a quarter sticking out.
Great shot, Mark.
Hair bigger than his last one. Yep. Lots of weight. Whoa, whoa. Lots of weight.
John Morris looking for the roll under behind the corner guard, and the stone just rolled by Mark Kennedy.
He's really close.
Hard, Pat, hard. What do you have of this?
He's got a thin third.
Just roll her to the back 8.
I think board's the weight.
Yeah, I agree.
Easy
I think we
We got
throw.
Langer
I don't
for
want to
either,
see it take off. I'm thinking here.
thinking easy board.
I like here.
Okay.
I'm good at that, Mark.
Carter's curled, eh?
Yeah.
Or he's
I didn't
soft.
see how he threw it. but
Yeah, it did.
expect us to curl.
It did. I like easy control.
Like that?
With easy control.
Yeah.
That looks like it. Look how much ice.
Just wondering,
line's good, I think.
you know, they were just talking about how Carter threw it.
Center line.
Do you think it's an advantage to Kevin Cooey having held the broom for the other 3 members of Pat Simmons' team to really be able to get even a better edge than you normally would get from the people that are throwing on your opposition?
Yeah, I think so. It gives you an extra few rocks to gauge the ice and how it's curling.
Brent! Hard! Whoa! Hard, Kev! Hard, Kev!
Now that's a great shot. The doubles, Mark had said they could see about a third of that yellow stone. That looks like an awfully small third for me. I'm right behind it and don't see a third, but I think they were wondering if the double would be there, and I don't see Team Canada playing that. There's just not enough rock there to throw at.
Yeah, you had good control.
That was
I think
a little heavy, maybe.
Yeah. I can never miss that tight.
Great nose!
I think it's one of those shots that if you're the opponent, you say you see a third. If you're the one throwing it, I can't see anything.
That's true. I'm not sure. I mean, he was from his hack. Maybe you could see a little bit more. And that's true. I mean, Mark's throwing from the hack that's further right. He's taking a little bit different angle at the broom, but I'm sure Pat can't see a third.
Yep.
Easy.
Softer than you.
Hard. Easy.
Clean. Yep. Whoa. It's good.
No, they're hoping for one more nose hit and might have a chance at a double, but it would still be very flat.
I'm saying we can roll
With your intern, you mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
Then we can finish it up a bit, right? Then we got a little more control. I think control.
Okay.
Well, as Kevin makes his way down, certainly a position of comfort for this Alberta team this week. They have had the last rock in every one of their 10 games this week, which speaks volumes, Dave, not only about their ability to draw for the pin, but just the comfort to start every game.
Livermore.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. Well, I know from playing with Mark and Ben that they spend a lot of time practicing that draw to the button, and not just partway through a practice, but right off the start, just like you're going to do in an actual game. So it's something they work at a lot, and I'm not sure that all the teams put in the same amount of practice, just like a game scenario of saying we need to hit the button now right off the bat.
Whoa. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Yeah, Brent. Langer.
Go.
Further,
Very good.
Further. Good shot, Kev. Nice too.
Boy, Kev.
Nice toss, Kev.
Well, they'll try and hit and roll as far as they can behind that yellow stone you see on the far right side of our screen. See if they can get half buried and make the shot difficult for Kevin Cooey for his two.
Good normal.
Yep. Whoa. Wow. Go on.
Pat Simmons looking for a roll here.
Hard. Oh, it's on the nose.
Boys, whatever he likes.
No, I like the out.
I know.
Take it down here. Like that?
And we've talked about the success of this Alberta team and having that last rock advantage. Kevin Cooey also leads with the best efficiency with the hammer in the field at 43% this week. The ability to convert that last rock to two when you have that opportunity.
I think it'll move a bit.
Yeah. That's good ice.
I won't baby it, I think.
Yeah, throw a good one, Kev.
Throw a good one.
Final rock here in the first stand. Kevin Cooey, the opportunity to open this very important game with a deuce.
Easy, Benny.
Well, Kathy, you mentioned they've had the hammer in every game so far in this event, and they've scored 2 in every game but 1.
Well, the hammer very effective in this first stand this morning. 2 for Team Alberta. Well, all the games mean something on the ice this morning, different things to different people. And over here on Sheet D, both Adam Casey's team from PEI and Jamie Cooey's team from Northwest Territories fighting to not put their teams next year into relegation.
Well, as much as this is a couple teams that are not going to make the playoffs, this game means an awful lot for them.
It's a lovely shot.
Beautiful shot. Nose hit for 2 points.
Well, a good start for Adam Casey using the hammer very effectively in that first end. Well, and that too for Alberta in a week that has had so low scoring numbers overall. You have to think, David, that for Alberta they're feeling just that little bit of a breath.
Well, they are, and I know for Team Canada that probably weighs a little bit heavy on them at the moment, but what they need to do is have a great end here, come back with 8 good shots and get a deuce right back.
Yep. That's fine, Dane. That's fine. Just as good.
Tap and roll. Like
Let's be patient against these guys. We don't have to push. We don't have to get forced.
Board.
Okay.
There's an interesting comment from John Morris about being patient in their losses and after them. I talked to Earl Morris, and you know, one of his comments, Dave, was that when he has seen this team struggle, they'll give up points and they'll panic to get back, and they usually wind up giving a steal right after it. But it's only a 2. It's the opening end.
Really gotta go. Gotta go.
Do you think that's good advice from John?
Yeah, it is. I think so. I know that obviously John, you know, has been in this situation lots of times. He's got Earl coaching him, but the problem at times is just the execution there, and we've talked about that. I mean, hitting and rolling out right there just gives Cooey the automatic out to go and peel the guard, really take the wind out of the sails in this end.
Clean. Whoa.
Brent Lang, formerly from Ontario, played in the Brier with Glenn Howard. Making his 10th appearance this year, 9 for Ontario, 9 times.
Right on the nose.
And just that once for Alberta in 2015, but they would win that.
It's good.
We talked about the experience of these teams. From a numbers perspective, it is incredible the accomplishments of the players on this sheet of ice. Between the two teams combined, we have 24 Brier winners or championships, 11 World Gold Championships, 3 Olympic golds, 4 Canadian junior titles, and 3 World Junior titles. 45 medals between national and international competitions of gold.
On this sheet
on
alone.
This sheet.
It's ridiculous. Sometimes you vie to have that even in the field. It is very telling about the talent on this team.
Yep.
Whoa. No, easy. It's good.
Clean. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Clean.
You know, David, beyond just the curling this week, there has been so much outpouring of love and support for Craig Savill, a longtime front-end partner with Brent Lang, battling lymphoma. The purple ribbons that we have all worn this week, the players, as the crowd acknowledges Craig in the building, currently battling Hodgkin's lymphoma. He's in a treatment program and always had said that he very much wanted to play in this event because it's in his hometown.
Well, he's such a longtime friend of so many of the players here and on tour that you see weekend after weekend. And as far as the guys that are always there to give you a smile, I think Craig is probably #1. So he's
Okay, normal? Sure.
certainly one of the topics of conversation, and certainly all the players are thinking about him a lot at this event.
And you know, when you play with somebody for a very long time, we talked about those years Brent Lang and Craig Savill played together, extending way into their past. You become more than just teammates. It's a family, it's a friend. You do things together. It's very emotional when something happens to one of the people that you not only play with but are very close to as a personal friend.
Well, for sure. And I mean, these teams are out here to do their best and obviously to beat each other. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is a game, it is a sport, and everyone loves it. They're out here because they love curling, but obviously, you know, situations like what Craig is going through right now is #1 most important in everybody's mind.
It's called life.
Big, almost normal.
Clean. Yeah. Yeah. Hard! Whoa! Yeah! Hard! All the way! Hard! Whoa! 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 Nolan, couple legs, couple legs. Go.
Not only Brent Lang, of course, John Morris with some very strong history with Craig Savill as well. And that goes back to their World Championship days. Gosh, they look so young.
A few years back.
That's a great team. Started a great dynasty, not only in Ontario, and then of course John moved away and they established their own teams. Craig and Brent going with Glenn Howard, and John Morris playing with a number of teams that was.
Real hard, Langer. Come on, Langer. Hard!
Hard! Hard!
Jeez. That ain't good.
You're that good, Mark.
Pick, Mark?
Oh, just curled a little closer to center, yeah.
So Pat trying to group those stones, David, to find a way to still get out of this end or create an opportunity for a double.
Yeah, they're going for the blank now, so if they can hit and roll in front of the yellow one, perhaps get a jam. Or like you said, leave them close enough at least where there's a double.
Good shot. Hold it on that side. That's a pretty good run back to the forward.
Or if he's deep, we just bump him back. Right. I like the Lang went through here. Just
what did Brent do?
It did do look pretty true.
Throwing this?
Yeah.
Well, there's not too much option. They have to hit this on the nose. They can't roll to the left because they would risk jamming.
On the nose, ain't they?
Yeah.
They were a little bit worried that Pat Simmons may be forced to draw around it, which I don't think he's going to do. He'll be playing for the blank.
Well, certainly if we listened to John Morris earlier saying let's not panic with these guys, you would expect that that would be the call for Pat Simmons. And for Kevin Cooey, looking to get to the nose and to lie to.
Go, 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 go. Whoa, whoa. Good, 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 good.
One of the most precise, regimented pre-shot routines we have come very used to seeing in this sport.
Clean. Oh, Nolan, Nolan.
Pat Simmons looking for the double.
What a great shot.
I wanted to keep the blank in play, and by that double very much creates that opportunity for his team here in two.
Kathy, was your routine exactly the same every time?
You know what, it was, but it was more an internalizing sort of routine of thoughts that went through my head all the time rather than, you know, the sitting in the hack going through those. I was very much a quick thrower, if you will. Usually Connie or Jen were still moving, and I was already coming out. And how about you?
Yeah, no, I had a pretty set routine. I would quickly stand up, clean my slider, push my watch up, and even when I wasn't wearing a watch, I would still do the same thing.
Oh, you have
just,
to, yeah.
You just have it, right? So.
Yeah. It's like this morning, I came down the elevator and I went back up because I forgot my earrings. And I came back down and I wasn't wearing them. And you said, you're not wearing them. And I said, no, that's not important. It's important that they're in my purse. We have our pre-game, pre-shot routines, always. So final shot here in two. A bit of a miscue by Team Canada early on in the end. Gave the opportunity for Alberta to lie to. But a great shot by this man, Pat Simmons, on his first with the double. Creates the opportunity for a blank.
Well, I think a real confidence builder for Pat Simmons, making that double, now getting the blank opportunity and getting his team out of this end.
Go, Pat.
Alberta retains that 2-0 lead, and Team Canada retains the hammer.
44 curlers started the week with a chance to drive away in an all-new 2016 EcoBoost Ford Edge Sport in the annual Ford Hot Shots competition. That number cut down to just 2. The final, Manitoba's Denny Neufeld against Newfoundland Labrador's Brad Gushue. And Gushue had a battle on his hands, but came up big when it counted most, including a big 5 on the hit and roll. The skip would come out on top. Brad Gushue wins the Ford Hot Shots and a 2-year lease on a 2016 Ford Edge Sport.
Well, Sheet D, what's one of those games that we're watching closely because it does matter for what happens next year? Jamie Cooey, David, is facing 6.
Well, if you're yellow, you do not like to see 6 red rocks in the house and not an easy shot to score when the angles are all bad to hit anything. He's got no other option except for a draw through a tiny hole to the edge of the button going away from it.
And Jamie Cooey has pushed every top-ranked team in the field, going extra ends. And here's an example of why. How good is that?
Nothing like a little pressure to bring out the best in you.
We've not shown you updates from our sheet A today. That's Glenn Howard taking on Steve Laycock because they have blanked the first 2 ends, so nothing to share at this point, but we will when we have something.
Like good board.
Whoa. Good board.
Well, again, no panic by Team Canada. Team Alberta has 2 rocks in the house. They played the hit and tried to sit in front of the other yellow one. Just trying to set up an easy deuce. Be able to use that corner guard to come around it.
Good, Brent.
We go next door. Sheet C, Jim Cotter makes his way down to sit in the hack. It is 2 right now in that 4-foot button area belonging to Newfoundland Labrador. All Jim has is that long angle outside.
Well, how many times have we seen Jim throwing these types of shots this week? And he's made a lot of them.
He sure has.
Close. Really close.
What a great shot.
That is unbelievable.
2 for sure, and look at those ones. It sure is for 3.
And all Brad Gushue can do is shake his head.
What a great shot by Jim Cotter. He said last night that he was owning the responsibility of BC not doing that well. He really felt he had let his team down. But gosh, when you have to make shots like that, I don't know that it's all his to own.
Well, that's the sign of a great skip and a great leader is when you take the bullet for everybody else. And yeah, maybe Jim has missed a few shots that he would like back for sure, but it's been a team effort, and Jim has made a lot of those types of shots that keeps his team in the game. Otherwise, he's down 4-0 right now and essentially game over to Newfoundland.
Clean. You took a lot of bullets?
Well, from time to time. No, you know what? On our team, we definitely had the advantage of really winning and losing as a team, and I think that's so important. There wasn't one player on our team that didn't own it when we lost games, whether it was for somebody saying it was saying that they messed up their own a sweep, or Randy saying that he didn't call a good shot, or just execution from me. It was totally a team effort, winning and losing.
Well, you got one of your former teammates on the bench, and Scott Pfeiffer. What will he be bringing to this Alberta team?
Well, I mean, Scott's experience at every level, whether it's juniors or Brier World Championships, certainly can be great value to them. I think there's things that you can see from behind the ice, just like we see from up here. We never miss a shot from up here, Kathy.
We're pretty outstanding. Have a great pressure as well.
When you're in the game and the energy and the intensity, sometimes things seem a little bit more complicated than it can be from behind the glass. So you know that Scott's not going to miss anything in terms of what they should be doing. So you can certainly add a lot of experience and just that value conversation at the end of the day, giving feedback.
Well, not a good outcome for Carter. Had an opportunity to put pressure to lie 3.
Can afford to roll in a slimmer.
Hey,
Heel.
can't roll in much though.
No,
boys.
I know.
It's a little bit about what we talked about, that Team Canada, just letting teams off the hook when they have the chance to really put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, and it's been 3 ends in a row. Carter's small mistake in the first end, and then Nolan's mistake in the second end, and I mean Canada's still got a good chance here, so they're not out of this end.
Shooter, Benny.
Yet.
Shooter.
Anything, Benny.
Good shot.
Shot.
Was I soft, Kev? I thought it was fine.
Oh, you
really.
threw it good.
You're going to have this next double and your next one coming back.
Our first look at Steve Laycock and the Saskatchewan team this morning. 2 blanks to take us to this position in the third end. And the final stone coming a little bit deep does set up the double for Steve Laycock. Nose hit for 2. As we talked about, we think 5 may be too many. You certainly can't get there on your own. You're going to need some help, but you definitely do not want to drop to 6 because that really ends your hopes this year for the Tim Hortons Brier.
For sure. So Steve Laycock, if he can win this game and stay at 5 losses, he really needs Team Canada to do him a favor and beat Team Alberta, because Steve Laycock plays Team Alberta later today and could potentially take them to 5 losses as well. A lot needs to happen, but right now he needs to make sure he just wins his game.
And that 2 on the board for Steve Laycock and Team Saskatchewan will help.
Yeah.
You certainly don't want to be watching other sheets and scoreboard watching, but it's hard not to at times.
It's pretty inevitable.
For sure, because I'm playing that on my next. We're not giving up
When he
3.
splits the house. Yeah.
Well, he's going to go over here, and he's
If I miss it, but it's the same thing if I miss that.
Well,
right? Well,
a lot
but to
easier
make
shot.
it the way you want, with normal across the face with an out turn, isn't that easy.
Yeah, but even if he knows it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, you know what? I like this, but I don't mind playing with a little bit of weight to make sure I make the double.
Well, no, I don't like that.
No, I think...
If you're going to play it, you got to play it to stick. Or else it's.
I mean, this double's going to be here for
deuce.
Kev, too, so if we try this, right? It's always going to be here.
So we play this double on Kev as if we're giving him a deuce.
Yeah.
But right now we have a chance to get out of it. Okay.
Even if you just make the double, and he's going to punch his rocks.
Let's go.
Do you feel like they're having that conversation, Mark and Ben, without Kevin in the room?
Yeah.
Well, at times it does seem like that, but I think that Mark was having a good conversation with Kevin about how they prevent a deuce. They know that they can make the double on the back, and that's fine. If they roll out, though, it's an automatic deuce, as Kevin said. I like this because they can actually group the stones together, which is what Ben was actually pointing out. So the conversation is good as long as they end up letting Kevin make that final decision.
Like that?
Yeah.
Skinny half, half's close. Okay.
Whoa. Yep. Hard. Hard.
Stay with
Hard.
it. Stay with it.
Close.
Come on. Go.
Great shot.
That's a great shot.
Well, for Mark Kennedy, he really was bought into the shot. Good discussion.
Great shot. Good shot. Should have a double coming back, eh?
He's got 3s, I think.
Okay.
It's really easy for him to do it.
Well, that was quite
Well,
the
the
voice
reason you
crack.
play the much more difficult double takeout as opposed to the back one is by making this, even with a good shot from Team Canada, all the rocks are grouped together on the same side of the house, and there's a good chance that Kevin Cooey's going to have a chance at a double to get out of his end.
I don't mind the freeze either, whatever you like.
I like the initial call of the freeze, Kathy. I think that Kevin Cooey's so good on his takeouts that it's difficult to roll the spot where he's not going to have a chance at one.
And they're both behind the tee line as well, so they're going to be relatively close, you would think.
Good weight, John. Weight's good.
Please. Good board. Good board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa. Cart, no.
Yeah. Whoa.
Nolan.
Go, Nolan.
Go. Hard, Pat. Hard.
Whoa, guys.
Oh, good. Very nice.
Lots of separation, pretty flat.
Good. Okay. Gives us a chance.
couple good spots you could have rolled to there. And the only reason I like that a little more, or I don't mind it, is just because it's an odd end, eh? And if you do happen to, if they get out of it, it's...
Well, even if I make the freeze and I'm 3/4, it just...
knows it again, and then
right, they jams.
There's not that good, so roll over there.
Okay, control.
I don't know if we knows when he rolls, it's four, it's deuce.
Control.
Yeah, we want to roll, I think.
No attempt at the double here, David, just trying to roll towards the other stone.
Yep, exactly. I think just trying to group them closer together again, hoping that Simmons noses and leaves a pretty easy double for Cooey right back.
Whoa.
Just control.
Whoa, Benny.
Whoa, Ben.
Whoa, Benny.
Ben, yes. Hard Ben. Hard Ben. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Sit.
Hard, Pat, hard. Keep going.
Oh, good shot.
Wow.
Okay,
Still a shot.
Well, they're not going to attempt to throw a takeout at it now. It's just going to leave too easy of a double for Cooey, so they're going to freeze into the pocket.
And even here is pretty good.
This is close to the corner guard line, too, that we were playing. A little more ice, but...
You betcha. And the speed's not bad here.
Got to be just across the face.
Yeah, speed's good here. Yeah, just across the face.
Yeah.
Yep. You got her.
They have to be close enough that
He has to be perfect.
Cooey can't hit it right into the hole because it will wiggle through, but cannot afford to bump that Yellowstone any either.
It was real positive.
Was it? Okay, we'll go off that then.
Yeah.
It has been draw weight that this Team Canada team has sometimes struggled with. And so a pretty precise shot for Pat Simmons.
Yeah, it is. You're used to throwing to T-line. Now you need to throw back to back 12-foot. So it does obviously change your perception of the shot.
Sounds good. It's got to be just across the face.
Yeah.
Okay. Let them know where we are.
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, old habits die hard. You used to adjust your watch. I have my stopwatch out, Dave, just to get a sense of where we're at this morning for speed.
Yeah, yesterday we were running about 14.5 when it was running fast to T-line.
I gotta go.
It's about down to 13.8 when we were seeing it in the frost.
Line's good.
Line's good.
Yep.
Line's good.
Need it still.
Room. That'll work. Never.
That's 13-7.
Nolan.
Come on, Nolan.
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 I got it. Whoa, Nolan. Whoa, Nolan.
Hard, Nolan.
That's fine, huh?
Doesn't matter which one you hit first.
Just the wrong side of the yellow one. A pretty easy double takeout for Cooey.
I guess even if I do this, it's
a blank
it's
anyway.
a blank
Probably,
anyways,
unless
right?
you get really lucky.
Okay.
Just looks easier. You cool with that?
Yeah.
So hitting which first, David, left or right?
I don't think it matters.
To you personally, or do you know what the call?
Yeah, even if I made the other way, he has an easy blank.
Oh, yeah, no.
He's going to throw it hard right in the middle, and to Kevin's point, I think he's going to hit the one that his broom's closest to first, and try and keep it on the edge of the 12-foot, maybe making the blank a little bit more difficult.
Whoa.
Well, recognized as one of the best big weight throwers in the game today. Kevin Cooey's final.
Really good throw.
And there they go. And so for Pat Simmons here in the third end, some opportunities early. But rock position and some good shots by Team Alberta have reduced any chance for a multiple score, so it will be the attempted blank.
But a good end by Team Canada, something they can certainly build on.
Final stone here in the third end for Pat Simmons and Team Canada, attempting the blank to keep that all-important last rock for the even ends.
Clean. Yep.
And Alberta will keep their 2-point lead for the fourth. We are back here in TD Place. That has been our home all week here in Ottawa. It's a very warm home, and that's caused some issues at night sometimes with the frost and the rain. But we are hoping for better things ahead. Dave Merklinger and his ice crew doing everything that they can to ensure that the conditions remain the same and consistent for the curlers.
It is one of the interesting things about our game is that you go to different buildings,
yes.
and as much as you watch on TV and think that the ice is the same from event to event, the curlers really recognize that it's not. I mean, in this building they might have different climate environmental control capabilities than they do than in a brand new building, for example, in a different center. And so the ice does change, and you have to learn to adapt to it. I think that's part of the the wonderful thing about our game is that it's not the same every time, and that you do need to continue to read the ice as a skip, and even throughout the game as the frost creeps in, you need to be aware of that.
Well, and it's also very different in this building depending on what side you play on. There's a shorter side and a taller side, and when you play on that taller side, the D sheet, there's a lot more fans and heat that comes off of the crowd, and it is things that we've definitely noticed that when it has gotten warm in this building, the sheet, the first impact is seen on is the Delta, the outside sheet. Well, a change for Newfoundland and Labrador after lying two buried and making Jim Cotter have to make an outstanding shot for his single. Now faces two. Brad Gushu does on his final throw.
Draw to the 8-foot, maybe a piece of the 4-foot for a single point. And as we've, I think, seen so far, the ice is still sliding really well. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Mine's good. Okay, go. You need it, you gotta go. Go then.
Brett Gallant just keeping it clean as they come into the house. Jeff Walker walking alongside, and there is your single.
Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
A lot less than me.
Yeah. It's only halfway right now. Clean. Yeah. Yeah.
When I played in this building in 2001, Kathy, we had some different concerns that we had to worry about on the ice. There was, I think it was during the semifinal, we had a bird that was knocking debris off the ceiling, and it was landing on the ice. We were playing against Guy Hemmings. Made for some interesting ice conditions.
Oh, I'll bet. Very similar, I know, in Garmisch in '92 at the Worlds. The ends of both of the arena were open, and so there were all kinds of birds flying, and with birds come challenges.
I thought he said it's good.
And you have to play around those challenges.
They've done a great job at renovating this facility, but also development around the whole arena as well. With the football stadium on the one side and all the restaurants and shopping that goes around it. I didn't recognize the area at all when we drove up. I said to Brian, I think you're in the wrong place.
Which is not without possibility with our good friend Muddy.
What if we play the hit and roll behind the corner? Choker's corner.
What do you like, David?
Well, I think Kevin's into peel mode right now. They're up 2. They have control of the game.
Probably doing this, right? We're thinking of playing ours and roll behind the corner. Those two are pretty good. I don't mind it. I mean, the problem is with my top 12 one, it can be used as a guard, right? So you move it in there, choke his corner.
Terrible.
Mark, what are you seeing?
I don't like the situation right now.
Maybe I want him to make a mistake.
Well, once he makes the roll,
then we know this is Brier.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that Cooey has always tried to do is group the rocks together, knowing that both Mark Kennedy and himself have the ability to make that double takeout. So by peeling the guard, you're definitely bringing Canada into the middle.
But if he's back here,
You just nose this.
Yeah. Or Benny's call isn't terrible. Like, that's the best result and got it right there.
That is the best result. A couple options, too. I mean, even if you did lose the shooter, it's not the worst.
Right. Or if I just lost that one and rolled here and lost the one off the 2, it's not bad either.
Well, you're giving him a wall to get behind. But, I mean, we'll have a short run back. What do you like, Brett?
I think that's the best result.
This?
I think so. Hate to make the roll and then leave like a triple and roll. Even the straight triple.
I like
bad
anything
at this
but the
point.
peel.
No, I don't like the hit on that either, like this
just
or
hit
the
the
peel.
open
Okay, so
I'm okay with either, but
if I play your shot, did the angles look good?
I think just good control.
Yeah.
Yeah, throw just like easy control, board. Yeah.
So Kevin's initial reaction was to peel that guard, now being talked into this in the house. Does that change, do you think, where he starts to think about what he will have to make for his final shot?
Yeah, I think that the point that the other three were making is that if you make this shot, it's the best result. And I agree. You can take away the corner guard by rolling behind, and you eliminate the Canada Stone in the house.
easy.
I think Kevin was just trying to keep it simple.
Yep. Whoa. No roll.
Minor.
No, leave it open.
Yep.
We'll take a peek next door. Glenn Howard makes his way to the hack, trailing right now by 2 and facing 2.
And he's got a tricky little shot, too. He needs to come around with probably back line to hack weight. Tap that red one for a single point. He could just play the out-turn draw. I'm a little surprised he's not taking more ice and just drawing down to that, but perhaps he's seeing that the frost on that outside sheet is becoming a bit of an issue.
Or maybe not having thrown a draw today, but he is facing 2. Scott Howard works. Keep that stone close. Adam Spencer very much watching, as we have seen the style become. And there goes the single on the board for Ontario. Steve Laycock leads 2-1 after 4.
So by playing the shot that Alberta did, it looks great. They've taken away the corner guard, unless Canada can actually get a stone in behind it. And they still have a couple left to do that. Now they've double guarded one that would be behind it. So
Same weight.
Same. Danny, I'll try to throw this exactly the same.
Sure.
Clean.
Same weight.
Clean it.
Clean. Easy, Benny. Clean.
Whoa, Benny.
Clean.
Whoa.
Brent.
Whoa.
Hard,
Benny. Go.
Good.
Great sweep, guys. Perfect amount.
Good shot, Marcus. Atta boy.
Good sweep.
Good shot. Would have been nice.
Thanks. Would have been on the nose, but turkey carve.
Control. Yes. Yep. Whoa. Clean. Yeah.
Well, so goes John Morris, so goes this team. John was a +3 after his first 4 matches, but a -1 over his last 5. So opponents finding a way to outshoot him. How much do you think that ripples through?
yeah, I think quite a bit. John has always been key on every team that he plays on. He's such a great player. You expect him to have more pluses than minuses and put your skip in positions to score easy deuces.
Control, Kev?
Yeah.
Well, without that roll under, it is an open hit for Kevin Cooey.
Control. Whoa. Close. Whoa, we're a little full.
Clean it.
Ben.
Whoa.
Yes. Shade lighter than you. Hard, Ben. Hard. Never off. Never off.
Whoa.
Yep.
Good call, Mark.
Nice. Atta boy, Marcus.
Well, Pat Simmons has one more chance to try and roll behind that guard.
Exactly.
And not fatal if he doesn't, but it certainly would generate a force, you would expect, David.
Yeah, and that's what the team, well, the Alberta team was talking about, the best result being if Mark Kennedy made that shot. It was likely going to be a force for Team Canada, assuming they could keep Canada from getting behind that guard.
Pat Simmons' first shot here. Trying to create an opportunity to score 2 in this fourth end. Needs the big roll across the house and under the corner guard.
The rolls aren't rolling quite as far as they think with the frost, but that one's rolling a little too far.
Keep going, get shot. Go, 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 go.
And it will be Alberta that continues to lie shot.
We'll throw him, Pat.
Yeah, so close to being perfect.
Mark making sure that it goes as far as it can. That takes Shotstone out of the mix. Very telling sigh.
Edge is probably your ice. Gonna be any stickier here?
I'll ask them. Okay, well, it's all you. I like it. Actually, you know what? Kevin threw this draw here. Where did we put it? Back 4. Yeah.
Probably just top 4.
They need to be careful they don't leave this top 8-foot, top 4, because there would be a thin double for Pat Simmons. He can see enough of that Yellowstone, he would play it if it was there. As long as they get to the T line,
No, I know, but we took a foot less ice.
there should be a force.
Same weight.
I like the same.
Yeah.
It'll be the same speed, so.
Yeah. 14-2, 14-3.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Dig, 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 dig. Come on, Langer.
Brent Lang on the brush.
We're good, Mark.
Trying to keep it out there a little bit. That's why Ben Hebert is not joining in, but Mark's a full participant.
You're good, guys.
Gotta be back 4.
You are.
No. Back, keep going, Mark.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Keep going, keep going.
That's good.
Keep going.
Great spot, Crew.
Great sweeping, Langer. Good shot, Ken. Really good.
Just runs nice.
Will they look at the sharp double or just too sharp, Dave?
No, too sharp. Just hit for a single point now.
Well, Kevin Cooey has done what he intended to do, which was to force Team Canada and Pat Simmons to take 1.
Solid board.
And get that last rock advantage back.
Pat, solid board.
Final stone here in the fourth end for Pat Simmons, looking for the nose hit against 2.
Clean.
Yep.
Clean, yeah.
Hard.
Carter keeping his broom down, making sure.
Stay down, stay down.
Stay down is a good sign that it's good, and in
Nice
fact
throw.
it is. So it will be a 2-1 lead for Alberta when we go to 5. It's Thursday morning at the Brier. Lots of things settling out for the weekend. And on this sheet, we are continuing to watch this game because it does matter very much for which province or territory will go to relegation next year. Adam Casey looking to tap a stone back to bring 2 into play, David.
Yeah, they've come out strong this morning. He's got an intern tap. Just has to get around the guard and move it back about a foot or 2 to score his 2 points.
Robert Doherty trying to push that stone over, if you will, get that extra curl as Anselm Carmody drops off. And there's your 2. Been a tough week for Adam. Put so much time into the game this year. Traveled extensively with his team and has played well, just not gotten the results that he was looking for.
He's had a lot of games that he's been in them and had pressure on other teams, and then when it came down to that one shot that he needed to save his team, either a little heavy on draws or just not quite making it the way you wanted. So like you said, tough week, but obviously a really good team. They went through relegation last year, had a 5-6 record, came into this Brier with obviously higher hopes than what they're going to leave with.
Well, on our feature sheet here, Team Canada looking to force or steal in this end with those two long guards.
I don't like that. Okay.
And Alberta coming around. So game on, David.
Yeah, it's the type of end that Canada wanted to see. If they can force Alberta to a single point and be 2 down playing the second half, there's still lots of time in this game left for them to make a comeback and force Alberta.
I don't mind that throw right now.
That rock in the back 8-foot is actually helping Team Canada right now. They can draw around with the intern, freeze to it, and force that play right into the middle, narrowing up the rings.
I like it right now. I like it. Clean it, clean it, clean it, clean it. Looks like it's curling. Looks like it's curling.
Looks there to me.
Line's okay, yeah.
Gotta go. Oh, look at that thing die.
Come on, Nolan. At least get the
hard. Hard.
Nolan, hard. Hard. Keep going. Keep going.
Yep,
keep going.
yep,
keep going.
yep, yep.
Keep going. Get a corner
Yep.
freeze here. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Well, it didn't end up where they wanted, and Carter was frustrated, laughing a little bit.
Loved it early, Carter.
He liked the way he threw it. He even said positive throw when he let it go, meaning he gave it a little bit extra, got it well out to the broom, and halfway down it grabbed that frost, and he knew that, you know, it wasn't going to be exactly where they wanted, but still actually not an awful spot.
Alberta's second, Brent Lang.
Room, Mark.
Top 8. Top 12.
Hard then. Gotta go with that.
Come on, head down. I got you. I got you. Go. Never stop. Come on, Mark. Dig.
Go, Mark.
Hard,
Come on,
Mark.
Mark.
You got it.
Come on, Mark.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep
Never
going.
up.
Keep going.
Go,
Come on,
Mark. Go, Mark.
Hard. Get off there. Go, 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 go.
And everybody brings their own fans and friends, and certainly for Brent Lang, he's got some support on his side, not only home but here. Jennifer Jones, of course, who we're used to watching, their little girl Isabella, and Craig connecting and having a chat with Jen this morning. And certainly after her week, nobody knows better what it's like to go through these competitions than she.
Yeah, I'd say pretty close.
Curling community is a very tight one.
Well, we talked about the number of national world championships on the ice. Well, there's quite a few sitting right behind the ice as well.
I was just going to say that between the two of those, Craig and Jen,
Heavy.
Olympic,
Heavy.
worlds, Canadians.
Gotta go.
Go line.
Success has followed those two wherever they've gone.
Wait till there.
Hard. Hard, John.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
It was perfect, eh?
And I flung it out.
Yeah.
Surprised a little bit, David, how much that curled.
Yeah, well, Carter said he flung it out there. So I think we're starting to see the effect of the frost a little bit more than we were in the first few ends of the game. And I know we brought it up a few times, obviously, but it is affecting the ice. And certainly there's something they can deal with. They just need to be aware of it and make sure they're putting an extra few feet on it. The danger comes in that if you throw it in a spot that the frost doesn't affect it, then you look a little bit stupid because you're actually throwing it through the house.
Easy board. Easy board.
Whoa, whoa. No, never. Never.
Mark.
Mark.
Hard.
Whoa.
Hard, Mark. Go.
Had it.
Pretty good.
Shoot.
Good shot, Brent.
Well, almost gets that inside roll, but almost all exposed from the hack where John Morris sits and lines it up. Can you get to the inside, David?
Well, it's a difficult shot, but there's a little bit of space there that if they're very close to that red and yellow one in the top of the house and bump the yellow one in the forefoot back to basically even with the other yellow one in the back forefoot, it creates a nice little wall for them. Even if Alberta were to pick the shooter out, they have a nice wall to freeze to.
Back 4, back 8.
Never. Cleat, whoa.
Back
Never.
8.
Cleat, whoa.
When we do that, we look next door. Always a sea of stones. It does look as though Jim Cotter's red stone is shot as we watch John Morris's stone get that little bit of that inside roll. You called that, Dave.
Oh, great shot.
And so Jim Cotter just not having a whole lot to deal with. Will throw that away and take his one.
There
And
had to have been something that Jim could make.
Well, I think because the two Yellowstones, if you look at them there, maybe you can't get around that outside, Dave, on that sheet.
No, there isn't.
You're just like that.
Oh, Jim should have found like a skinnier rock maybe and tried something.
Tip it sideways.
Kev, what if I do?
Really nice shot by John Morris.
Yeah, I know, but then we can come down and bump, and at least we still have
just a way tougher shot.
something to play with. This one's killing us right now.
As I said, even if Alberta throws at the rock that Mark just said is killing them and peels it out, great opportunity for Canada to then draw down to the two red ones in the back of the house.
Can't hit that, Langer.
To actually move anything, I don't think I can play enough weight.
Well, you'd be throwing peel.
You could hit it.
Off the side of that is what he's saying.
Yeah, but I can't see any of it, guys. Can I? Okay.
Pick it.
Well, if you hit that guard, what?
Well, then he's
you pick it, he's getting in here, then we're following.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Well, if they, exactly what they're saying, if they come down and pick this stone out, they know that Canada
I don't think I can get our back one.
is going to draw around and sit one right there. And what Kevin Cooey's saying is they would then follow one down as well and put it right there.
It's pretty hard right now.
Yeah. That's
You got a lot of arrows going.
That's an option.
Hopefully you follow that.
Well, I certainly did. So has that been the final decision, is to pick that stone out?
It is. I really don't think there's any choice right now. They have to get rid of that the stone that John Morris just threw.
Kev, we can pick it.
Throw a good one here.
Yeah, let's make sure of this.
I'm not sure what other shots they were looking at, Kathy. They spent a lot of time talking about this, and we've noticed that Team Alberta has been tight on time quite a few times, and I think they identified that all the other shots were not good results, and yet they spent quite a bit of time making that decision.
Well, I heard a bang over to our right, and it was Glenn Howard slamming his broom in frustration. His final stone, that red one at the top of the 12-foot, playing the draw down, so whether it picked up something or just underthrown, but it does allow an opportunity here for Steve Laycock from Saskatchewan to draw in for two. Needs a bite of the 4-foot.
Well, they weren't really sweeping Glenn's very hard, so I think they thought the weight was fine, and as you can see, it stopped top 12, so not really close.
Line's good. Line's good. Yep. Line's good.
So we watch John Morris to the right, drawing in for shot, and we watch Steve Laycock on the left, being swept by Colton Flash, Dallin Myers.
Clean it.
And there's your two. Steve Laycock's first deuce in 3 games was the first one in the game. Scores another one now, obviously feeling very comfortable out there this Thursday morning.
Good job, guys.
Well, they know they're still in this. That's a very difficult shot by Steve Laycock to go wide on the in-turn, closest to the stands where the most frost is, and just trust that the time that his team is giving him is exactly what he needs to throw.
And a great read by his front-end players, Colton Flash, Dallin Myers, because that certainly plays into it as well.
Well, they just watched Glenn Howard's shot, so they knew exactly what he was going to do and gave him the feedback as to how to throw that stone to make sure he got to the 4-foot, and also how to sweep it.
Benny. It's there, guys. It's there.
There, now do my arrows and rocks make sense now?
You are the Etch-a-Sketch king.
Good sweep, guys. Good sweep.
If you can get the nose and move it just like they did ours, like just to freeze this one but open this one up. But throw the freeze and we'll sweep it at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Freeze is fine.
Well, John's point was if they could ever move the back red one right to the back yellow one, so move it that 3 inches, it creates a small separation that potentially on Pat's last rock they might be able to do something with to force Cooey to shoot against potentially too. But for now, it's a freeze.
Okay. So what compared to my freeze?
I don't think he has much on that side, does he?
No.
Same weight or hair less now?
I think we
Just go in and draw the button as long as we don't. Well, yeah, make it good. I don't know what he does.
So that much less then?
like 4 or 5 feet less.
4 feet less, yeah. I like that.
The way it finishes, Pat Simmons can actually get to the inside of that yellow stone in the button and sit shot rock.
I like it right now.
Line's good.
Little bit for line.
Okay, hard line.
Grub.
Line's good.
Clean it for line.
Wait till there. Line's good.
Pat Simmons trying to get to the front of that stone, even to the inside on the lid for shot.
Hard.
Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy.
No, we're not. It's much tighter line than they have.
Yeah.
Perfect weight.
Great weight.
Nice weight.
Love the weight. It's perfect.
We all agree. Good
Yeah.
weight.
That-
What kind?
Dead nose with like just normal.
I don't understand what just happened there. Like, we just missed the line? Or?
When we're like first, third, fourth, and fifth. I see what you're saying.
As long as this doesn't
Spin too far.
squirt. Just normal.
Yeah, it's gonna squirt a little, but if your shooter's right here, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key.
That's the key.
Even if you,
Guys, if it overcurls a hair and you roll low, that's just as
yeah,
good.
that's fine.
I'd love to touch the 8. We gotta
yeah,
touch
but
the 8.
you,
Yeah, but you can't roll out.
No, you can never be. Yeah. Because even if
Even
we
if it
just
just
roll on
misses,
top,
it's-
we got 2 shots. Like that control I've been throwing, or a little less.
I don't like less than that.
Okay, I like that. Give me what I've had.
That control?
Yep.
I was giving you here.
That back one.
You got to get to nose, though, right?
Well, that's up to you.
Dead nose.
Dead nose with normal.
So the concern with
No,
throwing
just
a little bit less than he's been throwing is just that it might do the same thing, Dave, that Pats did.
Yeah, exactly. They're worried about overcurling. What they're talking about is potentially 2 shots. If they can actually get the dead nose, this one may come off that yellow a little bit and remove this yellow stone, which now gives access to potentially the red one on Kevin Cooey's last shot to score multiple points.
Good.
Control.
Clean.
Yep.
This will curl.
Clean.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Benny.
Bend. Yep. Hard bend. Go.
Back
Go.
yellow, Mark.
Go.
Back yellow.
Sit. Perfect.
Great
Perfect
shot, Kev.
Kev.
Very good.
Perfect.
Yeah, great throw. Now that red one is sitting unprotected at the back,
Beauty,
and
Kev.
Cooey's going to have some sort of shot to potentially get rid of it for multiple points.
It's a pretty lonely stone.
That's perfect, Kev. Great shot. You got a little, the red one.
Move that red was
Yeah,
nice.
that was perfect.
Hate to say intern, but
It's just not easy.
The only other thing is you could sounds.
any good?
I
Yeah,
know,
that's
it's... How do you propose that?
How do you propose we do it?
Yeah.
That part's not my job.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Throw one up here.
This turn isn't there, and I don't know if this... I don't know
Well,
if
this turn is here if you throw it just over the hog line.
Yeah, but then he'll. If we only throw it the way this is curling, the way the brooms can manipulate rocks, he'll have us with a lower weight one.
You either got to throw it here, or I was just thinking, do you want it? I mean, it's ball game, but nose hit and just try to pick that off the face.
Oh no, like we could even just do this. Then he's got that. He's still got that for 3. I think we got to throw the guard unless you got the gonads to throw that intern draw,
Guard or the
which is no burn.
No, the intern draw, there's spots we can put it that are just as bad almost, right? Like, it'd have to be like here.
That's the only place you can put it right
And then it's for 2.
Well, I think we got to throw the guard then. I think your best way to make this guard pad is to go like this.
Positive spin.
With a really spin, with
even
a lot of
more
spin.
with some spin, I think.
But let's just think where we want to put this. You got
Wow.
this. Convince yourself you can do it, buddy.
Oh, no, I know.
Because we don't want to go too tight or he's running it, right?
No, I know.
We want to go halfway, right
Yeah,
there.
right there.
That's the spot.
Yeah.
Okay? You got her.
The problem is, you're right, even if I make a good guard, it's an absolute no-risk run, so maybe the draw is worth it. Like, unless I mean, he's going to be real close to making it either way, right?
I'd rather, I think if we're here, then I like our chances. If we're here, I don't. 1/3, I like our chances.
I guess all I'm saying is, at least with the draw, we've got our destiny a little bit in our own hands.
Well, even still, though, you're right. Even if we go here,
it's terrible. Can't miss.
Let's throw the.
You could freeze just inside nose. Not there. You got to be a little bit more there. Yeah.
Still
there for 3. Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, you got
still
1/3.
Well, a huge discussion for the final stone of Pat Simmons. Don't forget that this is not just about
1/3, so maybe we don't have to go as wide.
This team, but many others looking on. There is a group of 4 teams with 5 losses, really hoping that Pat Simmons will bring Kevin Cooey back to the field.
Hey, bud.
And for Pat Simmons, just concerned about his own destiny.
Well, there's 2 ways to protect this rock. One is to throw a guard. The other one is to put a second rock in the house. Neither are easy shots for starters. Pat's concern is even if they make the outturn guard, Kevin Cooey's going to have a run back straight on the nose to still get rid of that red rock, and you cannot take that away.
Well, no, he can make the hack weight around the
guard. Oh, I know. A 1/3 to a half.
Okay.
That's the range.
And how much of this positioning, David, is based on their knowledge of how good Kevin Cooey is at big weight runs?
Well, so much respect in terms of his ability to make those run backs. So they're going to try and create as much separation as they can between the one Pat's throwing and the ones in the house. It'll be a fairly high guard if it can be.
Plenty of weight.
No.
Line's not good.
Just a 1/3.
Play it off this.
Just over.
Line's pretty
it's
good.
Not there, John.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh. Let her die, let her die, let her die. Let her die, Carter.
Cleaning it.
Needs to stop. Overcurled.
How much you got?
You don't have much, eh?
You got a quarter.
Just play with back range.
Just
hack.
Throw that hack weight. Throw a good hack.
Yep. Yeah, I think if we're anywhere near the guard, you're going to have to keep going.
I think that's good. What do you think of that?
If we're not, get ready.
So potentially to blow this game right open.
The guard's not an issue.
What do I got to get to? A quarter of it?
Well, you got to get a quarter for 2, yeah.
Hack weight cup?
Yeah, what do you think of that broom, boys?
I love that broom. We're thinking you don't have to, like if you're close to the guard, I'm going to have to keep going.
Yeah,
a quarter for 2, and how much for more, Dave?
Throw it out there.
Well, if they can get hack weight, a 1/3 of the rock, it's for 4.
I think so. A little more.
Thanks. Well, you're right in my...
Hack weight cup. Throw a good one.
Well, all they can do at this point is look on. Only 1 deuce scored in this game, the opening end with last rock. And this is the final stone in 5 for Kevin Cooey. A 1/3 for 2 and a half for 4.
Whoa! Right. Whoa!
Whoa!
Whoa, still Ben!
Whoa, Brent!
Langer! Go, Brent!
Trying to make the finish go.
Get it.
Good.
And he will tap it. That will be good for 3.
Great shot.
And a 5-1 lead for Kevin Cooey. They did not leave him very much. But David, he talked about half to a 1/3.
Yeah, he hit it very well. It was perfect weight, and that was the key to the shot.
Trying to get that finish at the end, Brent Lang was. Makes connection on the back. That's a pretty good outcome. We knew that this would be a barn burner this morning. That Kevin Cooey team is rolling. Pat Simmons, well, it's been a bit of a struggle yet this morning. Still have some time to come back, but with a 5-1 edge, it is all Cooey so far this morning.
The 2016 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of Curling Canada.
In one of the lowest scoring Briers, we take a look at our feature game this morning. That opening deuce by Alberta put them in good stead, but it was the 3 and 5 that really has made a difference. Let's take a look at the numbers after 5, David.
Yeah, both teams playing pretty well. Canada obviously off their game a little bit. We saw early in the game mistakes at the front end that was putting a lot of pressure on Pat Simmons. And as we talked about Alberta, they are just rolling 94% and not on easy ice.
Not at all. These numbers are brought to you by Ford of Canada, proud partner of Curling Canada for over 20 years. Now we take a look at what's happening elsewhere this morning. Brad Gushue and Jim Cotter. And is Brad Gushue, that Yellowstone at the back, already lying shot. An opportunity here in 5 to go to the break with a pair.
Yeah, we don't have the highlight shot from Jim Cotter right before it, but he just threw a run back to eliminate a couple Newfoundland stones. And now Brad Gushue has a wide open draw for his 2 points. Needs to curl by that center guard, though.
I got the graze.
I think he needed it to slow it down, too.
He did. When it's working for you, it is. And there's a 2 on the board and a 1-point edge as they will go to the break.
That's pretty good.
And on the far outside sheet, it is Adam Casey from PEI taking on Jamie Cooey from Northwest Territories this morning. Redstones belong to Adam Casey.
Well, Jamie Cooey not going away. He's got a double takeout here to score 2 points, get himself right back in the game. He needs to get about half a rock, so close to the center line.
And there's your double. The 2 for Jamie Cooey brings him within 1 as they will go to the break. Well, lots of discussion this morning on the ice. We've talked about that being one of the themes, both of these teams with lots of contributions. They know each other. They've all played together at one point or another. Final 5 after this.
The 2016 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by World Financial Group, helping Canadians have better financial futures. By Home Hardware, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice. And by Ford of Canada, proud partner with Curling Canada for more than 20 years.
Well, 2s have not been that common this week. 3s even less so. And we go back to the 5th end, Dave, on 2 great shots by Kevin Cooey.
Yeah, Kevin's first shot was really the key shot for me. This set up an opportunity for him to score the 3-ender on his last shot. And really, when you look at this, the back yellow is the one that they're actually most concerned about, which they got off and unlocked from the red one, giving them a chance to make a big one in Kevin's last one. But even when you have that chance, you still have to make it. Cooey could only see about a third of this rock and needed to make pretty solid contact. Great weight, great shot, great result.
And the key shot is brought to you by Scotties, the tissue for any issue. It was pretty fantastic lining up and shot making, and so it is a 5-1 edge that Kevin Cooey carries into the back half of this game. How tough do you believe it will be for Team Canada to fight their way back?
Well, I think if you're Team Alberta, you have to feel pretty good that your skipper's throwing 100% after 5 ends. And not easy shots. He's made a lot of really great shots so far. But for Team Canada, there's not much they can do about the scoreboard right now. What they need to do is generate 2 points and get themselves back in this game. Still 5 ends left.
Line's good. Almost T-line. Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's too heavy right now. Are you sure?
Whoa, weight's coming off it though.
Oh, it's gonna curl. Yeah, it's getting. I think it's.
Reminding you that Team Canada has that 5-4 record and will close out this evening against Glenn Howard from Ontario. So no walk in the park, and it is those first four teams that go through to the weekend. You just don't want to have that 5th loss and hope somebody else loses to let you back in.
Well, Glenn Howard, Steve Laycock, they're all hoping for Canada to make a big comeback and bring Cooey back to another loss.
Yeah. Okay.
Benny seems
have to go pretty
okay
wide.
Here.
Yeah. White's good. Clean it for White.
Mine's not
Well, you can
bad.
see, Kathy, they're actually taking ice outside of the 12-foot now for center guards.
All there.
Yeah, I was noticing that the broom is moving.
Mine's pretty good.
White's good.
Got a curl of hair. Got a curl of hair.
No, it doesn't.
Hard, John. Hard, John.
There have been some fantastic crowds all week, every draw.
Nice shot, Kurt.
And while we're used to buildings being filled at night, people do work for a living, so we don't see as many, but lots of people in the morning, and so the temperature inside starts to rise. And around the concourse of the building, there is no vestibule, so when the doors open to let people into this building, the air comes out over onto the arena and comes down onto the ice, and it has to affect the playing conditions.
Whoa. Yep, Brent.
Brent. Whoa. Yep, hard.
Nicely done. The Yellowstones build up.
Is this makeable with this turn? Can we make
Why
it
just
without?
throw the come around? Knock four.
Not quite sure we can stop it.
I just don't know if I can make that freeze. Not enough ice on the sheet.
Well, next door, one of those teams already at 5 losses, Glenn Howard, fighting for his playoff potential life, already trailing by 3, trying to find a way to bring 2 into the mix by running back 2 stones, Dave.
Yeah, just off nose, and he actually scores 2 points. Great shot.
Very nice. And there's your 2 and brings him within, or did it?
2? I think he still got his 2. That's close, though.
2 it is, so that does bring him within 1
Know your angles, that's all.
as they will go to the break.
Well, generally on this ice, we're not going to see as many misses with the bigger weight shots as we will with the draws. It's really affecting the draws. If you're throwing the hits, you're generally throwing through the frost.
Yep.
Gotta go.
Gotta go, Brent.
Gotta go, Langer.
Real hard. Hard.
So where do you go? How does Team Canada generate 2 when the ability of Alberta to throw that up weight is just so good?
Well, actually, this end probably wasn't terrible for Team Canada. There's a lot of Yellowstones that were in the rings that doesn't look great for them, but they're using them to their advantage. They have a chance now to freeze onto the stone.
Yep, got to keep it on the face.
They can freeze to a well, and Alberta blasts it, and everything goes. Canada will have a chance to sit 2 points. And you have to hope for a small mistake from Kevin Cooey.
Couple more feet.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Pretty good.
Looks there.
Good. All there. Whoa.
Yeah, don't want to.
Heavy's not good.
Gotta stop.
Now, do you think that's up weight for the frost or just a loss of focus?
Well, I think when you're sitting in the hack and you can see the white frost all the way down the side of the sheet that you're throwing on, you throw it a little bit harder. And for John Morris, he probably thought that's the weight that he needed, but it is deceiving. It is difficult. There's not an easy answer to. You need to throw exactly this weight.
Just trying to roll it right out.
Yep.
You follow through, Danny, because that's not up the road.
Easy, guys.
Clean.
Easy.
Clean it. Yep.
Good. Yep. Perfect.
Never mind. It's perfect.
Kevin successfully removing the lone Team Canada stone in the house.
It's our only chance for a deuce.
Wow. Nice, Kev.
Yeah. One here.
Good throw, Kev.
Well, John trying to figure out where you can put a stone now that Kevin might jam.
Freezes it.
He's suggesting corner freezing on the
Yeah,
top
I
left
don't mind
one.
this. Okay, I don't mind that. If we can lock
They
it on.
could put
just
one
get-
right there. You know, and if Cooey does hit it, it may go back onto this one and jam. The other option, of course, is a perfect freeze, but the chances of Kevin Cooey not being able to get it out are pretty slim.
You look over at Adam Casey's opportunity for 2, just gave up 2 last end to Jamie Cooey and his Northwest Territories team. A chance to reclaim that edge.
Yeah, nose hits. The one thing you have to be a little bit careful of is that he doesn't dead jam on the back one. He would only get 1 then, I believe.
Not important for these teams. The team that finishes last does get relegated for next year. And it looks like there will be 2. And it is another 3-point edge back to PEI this morning. Adam, of course, coming through that pre-qualification process last year. It is a lot of extra games that you'd like to be able to avoid before you actually start the week.
Yeah, Northwest Territory is doing it this year, so both those teams familiar with it, and neither one wanting to have to go through it again.
Got that right.
Line's good. Whoa! Line's a little tight. Yep, for line. Yep. Yep, hard line. Hard line.
Wait there, John. Gotta go.
So they've elected to freeze on this one, Dave. The merits of going that way versus playing a freeze on the outside stone in the 12-foot.
You gotta fire it.
Well, I think in both situations you need to throw pretty much a perfect stone. You have to walk it down there and put it exactly where you want. I think this is just an easier one for Pat to gauge in terms of speed and line to make sure it's exactly where he wants to go. But even with this, I mean, a great shot. He's probably just a couple centimeters off from where he wanted to be. And it's still, you know, 85, 90% chance that Kevin Cooey's going to throw a big weight and eliminate it. But like we said, you do need to play for a mistake from Cooey, and they're hoping that he throws a little bit tight and a chance for 2.
A final stone from Kevin Cooey with a 4-point edge. Trying to pick out that stone. And he catches that back one, allowing him to lie 2, and that's the force.
Boy, he's rolling.
And looking more relaxed in some ways. Yeah, that's not that's not a face we see often from Kevin. Very intense player. Not at all Jean-Michel Menard, like, who is very passionate on the ice of his love of this game.
Well, Brian and I had a chance to cover the Quebec-Alberta game, and we talked about the fact that a lot of similarities in the two teams, and that both skips have the ability to make incredible shots, but they just approach the game so much differently. Kevin Cooey's team more or less plays full time.
Yes.
They curl every weekend. They make this their lives. They expect to be at the Brier. They're on a 4-year cycle to the Olympic trials. Whereas Jean-Michel Menard, it's part-time curling for them, as he actually talked about in the opening to the Brier, and that they come here, and the reason they curl is to be in front of fans like this and try and make some great shots and enjoy it.
Final stone here in 6 for Pat Simmons. Team Canada needs the 8-foot against 2. Nolan has his broom in the air, a good sign for Pat that this in fact is what they were looking for, and so it will be a 5-2 advantage, a 3-point lead for Alberta when we come back. For Pat Simmons, a tough road to hoe.
Final stone here at 9, Mike McEwen, and what an opportunity.
Go, go,
bang,
go,
bang,
go.
move it enough.
Great shot.
And it is. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4 for Team Manitoba.
Brad Jacobs, Canadian champion, gold medal winner. The Brush brothers got him. Bang, bang. Oh! Good shot. Believe in the beard.
And how good will that be? Join Vic, Russ, Cheryl, and myself this afternoon on TSN 1 and 3. We will bring you Northern Ontario and Manitoba, and the ailing Brian Mutrick will be back along with David, and they will show you on TSN 4 New Brunswick and Quebec, both teams at 3 and 5, wanting to stay there and hoping the field comes back to them. And in our game, it is that 3-point edge that Kevin Cooey carries here as we start the 7th end. Team Canada forced in 6, and really will need to find a way. Is it time to go all out, David?
Well, I think so. They're down 3 points without last rock to Team Alberta, which is not a good place to be. But a nice draw by Pat Simmons last end keeps them in the game. A couple center guards up. need to find a little bit of magic and hopefully a few mistakes from Team Alberta.
Where? A room. Where? T. Back 4.
Whoa, then.
Back
Clean.
4. Top of the
Clean.
foot.
Yeah.
Hard, John.
Yeah. Go everything. Go everything. Go everything. Go everything.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't
3/4.
Yeah, if it's going to curl it.
We've talked a lot about Kevin Cooey this week and a little bit of up and down. In his wins, he has had an average of 92%. In his losses, 79. He is perfect today at 100%. A good time to start to play well. As we take a peek over to sheet C, 3 yellow stones currently counting, belonging to Brad Gushu. What does Jim Cotter have?
Hard, Kev. Hard, Kev. Hard, Kev. Go.
Yeah, this has been a fun game to keep our eye on. It's right beside us, so it's pretty easy to look over. Jim's been in a little bit of trouble on a few ends, and he seems to find ways to get out of it. He's throwing a big weight double takeout, I think, just to give Newfoundland one at the back.
And he will. Sometimes just conceding that point keeps you in a game. It will be a 6-4 advantage for Brad Gushu as they play to 7. But as you say, Dave, at least it keeps him in the game.
Yeah, they're 2 down playing 7th end, so there's lots of time left. They need to obviously get some pressure on Newfoundland. Newfoundland's playing really well, only 1 loss this week. So they have to find a way to give Jim some shots for more than 1 point.
For his boom.
Brent Lang.
Hard. 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 Hard.
Shoot him in.
Hard.
Shoot.
Get it.
They would have liked to have caught the back one if they could, but removing the guard was priority number 1.
So for Team Canada, John Morris.
Line should be good.
Let's try to replace that guard.
White only. Line's fine.
Good line. Good line. Clean.
Only halfway. Just solid halfway, I'd say.
Hard, Carter.
The one advantage that Team Canada does have today, being down a few, is that if they can force Kevin Cooey to draw for a single point in his last rock against 1 or 2 Canada stones, you never know on this ice. We've seen shots where players think they're letting them go well, halfway down they look good, and they just come up short.
Then he taps it back.
Those are the types of situations that they're going to have to hope for.
Board or good hat?
He's going to draw anyway. Yeah, he's going to draw.
Board weight.
Well, lots of history between these teams. We've talked about how they played with each other at various times, but they've also gone head-to-head on the tour a lot. And so while you're not hoping for misses by your opponent, I think that for Pat Simmons and his team, Dave pretty much knows that he's going to need some breaks to get back in.
Yeah, you never play a game going in hoping that the other team's going to miss, because then it's changing the way that you're approaching the game and your strategy. But in a situation like this, they know that the reality is they need some misses.
Sorry, Kev.
Almost got to play the hit and roll.
Definitely a chance to throw quiet weight, back line, or hack and roll just behind that center guard.
It's like
hack.
Yeah, hack, big hack.
Clean. Yes. Yes. Hard, Nolan. Hard. 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 Whoa.
A great brushing to get that stone by and roll under. Team Canada lies 2.
2/3. Yeah, 2/3 real close.
So they're going to play the peel on the front guard and try and get the back red one in the back 12-foot.
Whoa.
Ready, Benny?
Whoa. Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Good boy.
Just like that.
Nicely removes that center guard and also takes that other stone out. A little less pressure on Kevin Cooey if he has to draw on his final stone.
You wouldn't imagine that a biter in the 12-foot was going to be any concern, but you never know. A picked rock, and all of a sudden 2 points for Canada go up.
You bet.
Half, 2/3, half. At least halfway. It's got to be usable, just in case we don't have perfect one.
Yep.
Usable in case we're not perfect.
Yeah, it's difficult right now to put guards on perfectly in line with the shot that you want. We saw that in the fifth end when Pat overcurled and gave Kevin Cooey the chance for 3. So if they don't guard it perfectly and Cooey does go after the back rock, they want to make sure they can use this guard and come around to the 4-foot.
Go! Line's good. Looks light.
Need it for weight.
Nolan!
Halfway.
Hard. Never stop, Nolan. Never stop.
Hard!
Never stop.
Hard!
Never stop.
Go!
Keep going.
Good spot.
Shot.
Good. Good rush.
If that's what it is, this outturn.
So Alberta could play the run back, but they're going to leave the center guard up.
You feel they're just playing the pick?
No, I think they're running it back.
Well, they are running it back.
I think so.
Outturn?
Yeah. They may spin the center guard off just a little bit, maybe even a rock or 2 rocks, giving Kevin Cooey a little bit more of the 4-foot to draw to. But the other side of it is if they do nose it and stick it straight back, Canada may come around and actually put a second one even better in there.
Kevin Cooey looking for the run back. Will not make contact with that stone in the house, so decision time now.
Like right on, back tee even. T-line.
I like that.
Splitting the tee is probably best.
Okay.
He threw some of these around that corner there, so. When I threw that freeze here, that's...
Edge of 4 thinks he's lying.
Yeah, I think he'll hair less even, John. Yeah, not much, you're right.
There.
Right there.
Same way through here.
My freeze, remember, was pretty gradual.
But it was here.
Right at the end.
Like
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
So the question is, oh sorry, Kevin.
Go ahead, no, by all means.
I was going to say the question is, where do you put a rock that you can convince Team Alberta to throw a draw?
I don't know that there's a whole lot of places.
They could throw the center guard again.
Hair tighter line. This is almost your line, a little more.
And why do you think they're not?
Well, I think they want Cooey throwing against 2.
You can go off this draw.
I think probably the more important thing is where do you put it to force Cooey to draw?
Real close now.
We first saw Pat Simmons in 2005, wore green and white for many years, skipping the Saskatchewan entry at the Brier. Came back in 06 and 07. He won a bronze in 2008, and then we saw him throwing 4 stones for Steve Laycock, and lots of questions if this Team Canada team does not go through at the end of the week. Would you expect Pat to go back to Saskatchewan, and where would we see him, and who would he be playing with?
Line's good.
And then, of course, he made the vault over to Alberta.
Line's good. Right on the tee line.
That's great success with Kevin Cooey.
We're good.
And now skipping this Team Canada team.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Good shot.
Good rush.
I don't imagine we'll see Kevin Cooey drawing. So he's got to make a little roll.
Good board.
I like it.
Okay. They weren't going crazy during...
No, his draw didn't go crazy there. That's perfect for board.
So to keep that 3-point edge, Kevin Cooey faces 2 here on final rock in the 7th end. Needs to get that little bit of an inside roll to outcount the shot stone. Full 8-foot belonging to Team Canada.
Whoa. Clean. Whoa. You're good. Brent. No, Brent. You're good. Clean. Clean.
Nice call, Mark.
And with that little roll, it will be a 3-point advantage once again for Kevin Cooey and his team from Alberta. Make that 4. Well, Thursday morning is about fighting for contention for some teams. It is fighting to get away from an extra series next year for the territories, as well as for Adam Casey and Jamie Cooey here, David, facing 3.
Well, every team wants to curl as many games as they can at the Brier, except at the end of the week, not at the beginning. So Jamie Cooey throwing his 3 needs a piece of the forefoot.
It's got to be right on tee.
Trying to get to that forefoot. It's that little rub, and that is the single. Good for a 6-4 game. Still within reach is Jamie Cooey. A 4-point edge for Alberta in this game. And do you see this morning, David, what you talked about in the opening, more of letting Kevin gain some confidence, or do you still see, in your opinion, too much talking?
Well, I think that the talking is probably fine as long as they're letting Kevin make the decision at the end. And there are times when you still, I think it's going to be natural for this team to see everybody involved and communicating it. I think they just need to make sure that they need to know when to sort of pull that string and step back and say, all right, Kevin, it's your decision. And I think it's been okay. I think it's when you get into those situations where the game is really close, the shots obviously perhaps a little bit more have more impact on the end result of the game than when they're 4 up, that you might see that come out a little bit more. So we'll keep our eye on that, obviously, as the week continues to unfold.
A reminder that this evening, both of these teams will play their final round-robin games. Canada takes on Glenn Howard from Ontario, and Alberta's final round-robin game is Steve Laycock from Saskatchewan. And then tomorrow morning, when we come back with the final round of round-robin games, they will both have the opportunity to sleep in and rest. And hoping both they will be, that they will be continuing to play later on in the day.
Well, depending on the result of this game and this afternoon's draw, certainly a lot more will be told by this evening as far as the impact of tomorrow morning's games.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want to stay. Just
No, I'm thinking if we feel he's got his out turn come around, I think it's better if he goes around those guards.
Whatever. Yep. Good.
Brent Lang removing the Team Canada stone.
This place to get us in trouble is around the back.
Yeah, you'd have to do the same thing. Pick the top, and you'd have the slash on one of ours, but this is fine.
Hair and give me some angle.
Might.
Constant conversation with this Alberta team. All 4 players very heavily invested into every shot, Dave.
Mine's good.
Yeah, what I like about it is that they're 4 up, only 3 ends left, and they're already talking about what's going to happen 2 or 3 shots later in the end and predicting what they need to do to make sure they give Kevin Cooey an easy shot to either eliminate stones or force Canada to a single.
Right off, right off. Sit. Yeah, I think this double goes right into that right now.
I think.
Mark Kennedy being asked to remove that corner guard, currently hiding the Team Canada stone.
Clean.
Get my gripper on here right away.
Yeah, it's.
Guard or dead freeze.
What if we tapped it?
I don't think you have to. If you dead freeze it, we can use it for the double and split the house, right? I just don't know if we don't have to do it.
Well, 2 of those teams next door really wanting Pat Simmons to pull it through this morning and bring Alberta back into the pack. An opportunity for Steve Laycock for 2, needs to get through the port. There is a guard on the Tim Hortons Cup.
That's definitely makeable. It's the port's open to Steve Laycock. All-a-weight shot.
Well, and with the 2 here, it would give him the biggest advantage so far of the day. playing for a 3-point lead, and he has it.
Good job, boys. Just slid really slow, but I got a little bit on it. Good throw, Stevie. Nice job, boys. Good job, boys.
No one switch brooms. Switch brooms. Little lane.
Wade's good. Wade's pretty good.
Mine's pretty close.
Yeah,
Little tight.
Gotta go. Gotta go.
Where are ya?
Gotta go.
Right. Hard, Ben. Hard.
Come on, Nolan. Come on. You got it.
Hard.
You got it. You got it. You got it.
Hard, guys.
Hard, buddy. Hard. Hard. Get paint. Come on. Hard. You got it. It's still there. It's still there. Hard, Carter. Hard.
Come on, get a bite. Hard.
And that stopped pretty quick.
Yeah, a little light out of his hand. They were calling top rings or just short of the rings.
Boys. He's going to go around the world. I think so. If I nose it and he makes the come around, we might be able to come off ours, right?
Here you go.
Yeah, you're never playing that. So.
Well, you might be.
Like sticking?
It's either that or the double.
No.
I don't like the
I
double.
like that.
He's got to do some work now.
Where to the nose?
Do you want to stick around?
I don't care.
Well, it makes this split.
Normal.
Sure.
Yeah. Normal.
Okay.
Walk us through the thinking, Dave.
Well, they were looking at actually running the center guard back onto this red one, but Kevin's point was they have some work to do. So 2 Alberta stones in the 4-foot, guarded by that 1 Canada stone. Even if Canada was shooting, they've got to make some really good shots to make something out of that. So they're just going to eliminate the back Canada stone. Sit 3.
Good.
And that's exactly what Mark Kennedy does.
Double, yeah. He's got to work hard.
He's got work to do, I know. They're still a little dangerous where they are, but.
Should be good. We have
Yep, gotta go for line.
Hard.
Gotta go for line.
How much?
Gotta go.
Back 8, back.
Back 12.
Back 12.
Whoa. Hard. Hard.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Nolan. Hard, Nolan.
Oh, good shot.
Well, let's look at our player comparisons. We're going to look at the skips today, and they're brought to you by Travelers. It's better under the umbrella.
Well, Pat Simmons having a good game, 86%. But I mean, Kevin Cooey, 100% right now. It's tough to compete against a guy that's.
I don't think you can.
That's perfect, right?
It is. You look at those numbers, only 3 draws, 11 hits. He's known for that great hitting ability, but you talk about confidence as we go into the weekend. And does this speak volumes to you of the time that he's put in, or is this just about a man who is very comfortable with the conditions and his team right now?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think they probably came into this Brier remembering last year's Brier where they didn't play the way that they hoped to, that they certainly found some bugs they needed to work through, and probably had that in their memory banks coming into it. And as the week's gone on, they've been getting better. They've been becoming more confident, very businesslike, as I've said. So I think timing is great for them to be seeing Kevin shooting 100% right now, and the team overall just really clicking.
Clean.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yes. Roll it, Ben. Roll it.
No.
Right on, Mark.
Go. Nice
Good shot,
guys.
Kev. Good shot.
Well, that would go easy in most games.
Yeah, I know. Beauty. Only for you they go easy most games, Koo.
Perfect.
My second. I don't know, like if we can't do this, it's a gimme.
I think our better chance is to do this and roll for the guard on it.
Okay.
If we don't get, I don't think we're gonna have a shot if we don't get shot. Make a move on shot rock right now.
The easiest shot is
So
come around this way and try and roll your redstone to right here, but it leaves Kevin Cooey obviously a very easy run back. So instead, they're actually going to play this top rock back onto here and to roll in, and their shooter is going to roll in front of that, protecting it. So obviously a very difficult shot, but if they actually can make it, they've now protected their 1 in the 4-foot.
Can't be here.
No, but this is equally difficult, or it's useless, right? Let's try that. I threw that almost that exact same path. Where were we for that ice? Was it there for that ice? that other end. My free draw last
Kathy, I
end.
think realizing how difficult that run back and roll and rolling everything in line is, the in-turn draw probably makes more sense.
Well, you know, as you draw it out, it's perfect, but you have to make that perfect run back, and you have to roll your shooter.
It's probably a little easier. The other thing we were talking about was like control weight and roll them both. Roll it guarded behind the yellow, but this is pretty close to the same line as my draw, eh? So.
Yeah. Okay.
They can freeze this on the inside of the yellow one. Doesn't allow Cooey to hit the other yellow one onto it. All he'll have left is a 4-foot run back on the red guard, which again, the way Kevin's playing, probably isn't that tough either.
So Pat Simmons looking for not only the perfect weight, but the perfect line to get the finish to the inside.
Line's tight. Line's good.
Now the Alberta Stone in the house.
Close. Room now. Whoa. Just here. Whoa. It's heavy. It's heavy.
Whoa, Carter!
No. Overkill. Oh, it's good.
Well, it's a good throw. It's difficult for Cooey to hit the yellow one on the left back onto it.
Red.
May not spin out.
Yes.
You just throw one in front of there, and how does he get two?
But it's...
What if we just freeze there? What does he do?
Make him throw that draw.
Timeout. Timeout.
Yeah, just block this side off.
Not if I'm throwing it.
I don't see why you'd come in.
Yeah, because you could come into a spot where you might make it this.
Yeah.
14.5, 13,
He has this
Got
out-turn
this
draw.
hard draw.
Yeah.
He does have the back line.
Or
here.
he's got
Or
this right now, actually. He's got
this too.
And he's got that.
I'm fine with him playing that.
Playing this one.
That's hard.
Yeah, I agree. But it's hard to keep your shooter for second over this.
I think you just guard this yellow.
Guard the yellow.
And maybe take a little bit, guard it fairly tight, like right here.
Okay, are you trying to take any of the red away, or is that shot way too hard?
Well,
it's not easy.
The yellow is way easier.
I know it is, but is there even a shot on this?
This one's not a concern. What are you worried about there?
Well, he can, if he gets to nose with hack.
Yeah,
he can have it.
You can have that one too.
Guard the yellow.
Guard the yellow?
Yeah.
I think his easiest shot is back ring on that yellow.
So,
right?
Yeah, I agree.
That's good. Tap that.
Edge of the rings.
I mean, we could always run this stuff.
Tap the red.
I know, but
We might.
No, he's
What's
just
that?
doing the out-turn draw. He'll have the same shot. I'm just...
If you freeze it. We're just worried that it'll leave the run back way easier.
Yeah, not if you can ever jam it.
Yeah. How could you jam it?
the only way to jam
I
it
think
is
you
to
can jam the yellow.
Tick jam?
Probably not. But
It's curling. Okay.
It's up to you, Kev. It's either the runner or the guard. Whatever
Well, you don't think you can jam it right on this one?
you can't do that.
You can't jam it on that.
I don't think that's possible, Kev.
This is the jam. Tick here.
Yeah, you have to miss it.
Almost impossible, but it's there. I don't think you can jam it on the one, Kev. It'll go outside these two. It'll go across the top.
Well, how hard's that draw? It's not easy right now. But I hate giving him a free one, but if I make it, I guess he's got.
If we make it, it's force.
Let's go.
If you like it, I don't know, but that's the other shot.
I don't know.
Yep.
Might run out of time, though.
So lots of discussion.
Maybe that's the plan for Canada, just run them out of time.
And the clock, of course, kept ticking after the timeout had come to a close. So, Dave, you agree or disagree with the call?
Out-turn side.
Well, this is fine. I mean, a
is
successful
even
end for Alberta would be to force Canada to a single point. They throw the guard, and they're just saying, you know, good luck with the out-turn draw. It's not easy, and I agree, it's not easy, but it is there. The only way to guarantee that Canada's not going to get to is the run back, which was the other call they were looking at.
All right. And that's our shot unless it overcurls, eh?
Too much risk, in your opinion, to make a play?
No,
on that
I
stone?
didn't mind the run back. I mean, Kevin's been throwing them so well. I think he's going to make it 95% of the time. I think both are fine.
Keep it out there.
Oh, let it stop.
We're tight.
Let it stop then.
Well then.
I thought perhaps, given the ice conditions, that he would have resorted to the big way shot.
No, no.
I don't think you do.
No, I can't.
Okay.
Good. Shot, Kev.
Shot.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Just got a draw,
I think it's
He's
good.
got
isn't
a
it?
draw.
Yeah, I think so too.
Team Canada now calling a timeout as well.
I think it's pretty good, Benny.
Yeah, I think we need.
Like I would.
I think we need more than. We might need a hair more than back 12.
So what do you think?
Are you not shot if you
ring or?
John,
How does this, Carter? How does this look?
are you shot if you hit this one just off nose?
Nothing.
Not there.
No, you can't see any
That
of it.
one with a roll, maybe?
Earl Morris inducted
can you
into
roll
the
enough for a
Canadian
shot?
Curling Hall of Fame last evening as a curler builder.
Congratulations to him.
Does this go off the back of that one though?
It definitely hits this one thick, but I think it's dragging into the back third of it, so it might even make more sense to throw a bit
That
more
might be
weight
the
at it.
easiest shot if it's there.
Yeah.
If
You
you
think
throw
the
enough
angles are
weight
there?
at it to kill him
Hey?
into the deep into the 12 foot.
It drags back, maybe get all three?
It's tough, man.
Yeah, it's tough because you got to hit this like
It's tough.
2/3, and then
If
you're
not,
with
the half
with a little
waiter's
speed.
there.
That's tough. Do you have any of this intern?
Well, I know that if
I
that
don't know, what
top
does it
red
look
one
like?
had slid just
Yeah, it
into the
looks like
12
it's
foot,
there.
we'd be seeing the big weight triple for potentially 3.
Intern back ring, are you thinking?
Well, you know this.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
you got to get to
Yeah.
Gotta get to a half.
back 12,
need-
just through back 12.
I need. I was thinking like soft hack. I think this will finish.
get him.
Soft hack.
Okay, just through.
I never heard a discussion of the draw at all.
No, I'm surprised they never talked about it. Obviously,
It's dead
John
buried,
and,
so
and
yeah.
Pat must have talked about it during the Team
think either
Alberta
one of these are
timeout,
there.
but they
They're
didn't
both.
discuss it at all. They've just decided it's too difficult. But I mean, this shot here is certainly no gimme. He can't see any of the yellow rock, and he needs to bump it out of the 4 foot
Soft hack.
and stay for shot rock.
We got you. Walks in there at the end, so.
I almost tend to think that the outturn hack weight on the top yellow or board weight on the top yellow was probably easier, but
For Pat Simmons, as he settles in the hack, there is nothing that he can see of the stone that he needs to make contact with, and enough contact to move it out of the 4 foot in order to score 2 and bring this game within 2. Final stone in the 8th end.
Weight's good.
I got maybe a hair light.
Weight's good.
No! No! Hold on! Hard! No! Hard! Whoa! Hard! Hard on! Hard!
here it goes.
And they just lost it at the end. Maybe a combination of frost and weight. Couldn't see it, and then it took that jump at the end. So it will be just 1 red for this Team Canada team this morning. That brings them within 3, but only 2 ends left to play. Just gets that guard at the end, rubs and redirects, and gets nothing out of it. It will be just that 1 that he was lying before he threw. Well, the team that currently has a record of 7-1 is Newfoundland and Labrador's Brad Gushu. And as we watch, it is the Yellowstone belonging to Brad Gushu that is second shot at the back of the 4.
Yeah, he's throwing a big weight double takeout, trying to spin everything out for a single point. He's got to hit it, just clip the back red one really thin.
Moves everything, and it will be that shot at the top in the 12 foot. It looks like, oh, very close. Oh, looks like yellow, doesn't it?
I think so. Yeah, that's a fantastic shot. To spin that red
To
one as far as he
move
did.
that rock out.
And earlier in the week, that rock would have been right out of the rings, but the frost, it obviously isn't traveling as far.
And it will be that single for Newfoundland and Labrador, and an edge for Brad Gushu. That's 2 points as they go to 9.
Well, you're not trying to stick it. I think normal's good.
3-point edge for Alberta as we play in the 9th. And it is Alberta that lies shot right in the 4 foot.
Hard. Hard. Hard, Mark. Real hard, Mark. Hard. Hard.
Roll it, Kev.
Hard, Kev.
Because that stone is in the paint, it does allow Ben Hebert to remove it.
Ben was probably pretty excited. He doesn't get to throw many takeouts.
No, not a lot of hits in his repertoire.
Oh, baby, just snuck her by. Good sweep.
Little bit of line, little bit of room on this one.
Well,
another
I can tell
guard,
you,
or are they coming in, David?
Yeah, no, I think another guard probably. Just tight to the rings. If it's in, it's okay.
It's just short. Okay, whoa. Whoa.
I can tell you for Ben that given the few hits he actually gets to throw, if he had rubbed that center guard, you would have seen unhappy Ben.
He's very expressive, as we say. You always know how Ben's feeling, happy or sad. Has a lot of energy to a team.
Clean. Yep.
Big contrast between Ben and Brent Lang. Brent very quietly goes about doing his business.
Thanks, Pat.
Had a very frustrating moment earlier this week, burning a stone that really put 4 on the board instead of allowing a great shot by Kevin Cooey. And so many teams have had incidents with the sweeping this week. Talking to Ryan Harnden, really feels that it is because your last motion is up rather than away, that there's a lot more opportunity to clunk brush heads.
Well, and up until this point, I mean, we've seen lots of times when a third is calling yes and a skip's calling whoa, and you don't know what to do, and it's fine. With the new sweeping, they're calling one sweeper on or the other, so you may actually have 2 different people calling different sweepers on. Then there's confusion as to actually who should be closest to the rock. And that's exactly what happened. So they weren't sure which sweeper was supposed to be in. They both tried to get in there, touch brooms and touch the rock. And so I was talking to Scott Pfeiffer about that, trying to find out if this is an issue that Team Cooey has encountered throughout the season. He actually said it hasn't been. They think they could only think of maybe one other time where that's happened. But we've seen a lot of confusion this week at times in terms of who's supposed to be sweeping and which guy is supposed to be guiding it in. And, you know, we had the Scotties as well. A couple weeks ago we saw some of that. So it is something that the sweepers are still trying to figure out, as well as the line callers.
Well, I know Ryan Fry mentioned the other night that unlike typically where he would just meet the team at the event that they were going to play in, given that he lives in Toronto, he started flying into the Sioux early to work on the line calling because it has become such an integral part of whether you make the shot or not.
Well, even earlier this game, you heard John Morris say, even if we get one in there, with the sweeping now, it's as good as gone.
Yep. Gotta go, Benny.
And Alberta will continue to remove those front stones placed by Team Canada.
A little more than just
Mine's a hair tighter.
Yeah, it's a hair more weight too.
John very much is playing in his home turf here in Ottawa. Said it's so neat to be able to look into the crowd and see so many people that he went to school with, being from this area originally. So it is very much a homecoming.
It is. Earlier this week, Cheryl Bernard and myself and Brian and the TSN crew had a chance to go to the Ottawa Curling Club and play a fun match last Thursday, and there was lots of photos of the John Morris team and the Homan team, of course, and Emma Miskey was there and set it up with the manager. So great, and lots of thanks to the club for setting that up for us, and you know, obviously photos of Craig Savill and Brent Lang and all the great curlers that have come out of that club.
Lots of history in that club. I'm sorry I couldn't join you. I actually was working for a living.
Through over there. Good stuff.
Would have been delightful to see Brian. He tells me always how incredible he is. Would you describe him as such?
Incredible is definitely the word that came to mind. That was more sweeping than I've done in 2 years.
Probably your whole life.
What are you doing here?
We got to move it.
Ah, you did. You did. I'll give you credit where it's due.
Move it back for it. So probably need like
to sit two. He's got to move it pretty far, did it? On his second one.
It makes sense to
Best
play
case
this.
is worst shot, and we can just peel the top.
No, last ice.
Working through what they will do when Pat does what they think he will.
That's probably close.
Looking for the tap or looking for the freeze?
No, I'm talking weight.
Just freezing onto it.
It's like a ton to me for ice.
I don't mind the ice.
No, we like the ice.
It's a line call, so if they happen to sweep it and bump it back 8 inches, that's fine, as long as they get to the inside. What they don't want to do is bump it straight back and sit in front of it and give an easy half rock pick for Kevin Cooey.
No?
I got a little line's good. Yep, hard line.
Oh, we get.
We've seen the spot a few times today where they just lose the draws.
Hard, still go. Hard.
Close.
Yeah.
That was still pretty light. Hey?
No hole.
That was only
Is
top
it worth
4,
it, though?
maybe? That's really heavy.
Well, it's the same as I guess. And then once he bumps you, you just have the pick.
Try and stick it.
Yeah.
Where's that? It's missing that, hey?
What if you just hit and roll way low? Yeah.
As long as we don't
Then he plays that same slot.
dummy him off.
Here's his shot. If you make that roll,
Yeah.
he bumps this.
He can
like
make
that.
it, and if he makes it absolutely perfect,
And then what?
we got the runner.
I just peel it up, peel his out.
Yeah, but
unless
if he
he
rolls
gets
buried,
under.
I'm worried about. I guess you'll have
Well,
this.
I'll have that soft. We'll have this one back here.
You'll have this for one. Okay.
Normal?
Sure, Kev. We playing the deep roll, or are we better doing this?
No, that's... You're better to roll far, because if you stagger those and he makes the draw...
Okay.
Kind of weight.
That was one of those discussions, though, Kathy, that they'd made the decision to roll far, and as Kevin started coming down the ice, Mark said, well, maybe we should roll shorter, even though they had already talked about that situation. And it's not that they end up making the wrong calls, that they wasted another 15, 20 seconds talking about it.
And certainly in games, as you move forward where they're more complicated, that can come back to hurt you. As we watch Kevin Cooey trying to remove that stone.
Never off. Might not get under here.
Go. Whoa, that's good.
That's fine.
Perfect.
Good shot, Kev.
Shot, Kev.
Same thing. Just gotta here, get that lined up.
It's better now, because it'll be your shooter coming in. Good shot. Really good shot.
Well, as Pat Simmons makes his way down, cleans the path on his way. It's interesting, we watch those that throw with the hair brooms really make that effort as they work their way back to the hack to clean the path. Every little bit of moving that frost off the ice, it makes the difference. So for Pat, final stone for himself. Here in 9, facing 2, needs to find a way to put this in such a spot that it makes it very difficult for Kevin Cooey to remove.
He needs back 4 weights.
It's more. Whoa, no.
And it should be a little
And
bit
just get to the inside of that yellow stone.
Clean. Coming down. Whoa.
Weight's there.
Whoa. Whoa. Carter. Carter, hard. Whoa.
Well, he's good for a shot, but is that too far?
Yeah, just didn't get the curl that they wanted this time. If it would have grabbed that frost and curled in like we saw the previous ones, he might have got to the inside, taken away this pick, and made the angle difficult off the yellow one.
Well, as Pat looks around, he knows that the fate this morning was in his own hands to try to bring this man back to the field. And a pick shot would be 2 on the board. The score would be 8-3. We would wonder if they would even play on.
I think so.
Final stone for Kevin Cooey here at 9.
Clean. Whoa, Brent. Clean.
Yep.
Clean. Perfect.
Thanks, Johnny.
Well, a perfect game by Kevin Cooey.
Perfect game by Kevin Cooey, and with that win, Alberta guarantees themselves at least a tiebreaker. And what more important, it means that in the following games, Manitoba has 3 left. If they are to win any one of those 3 games, our 4 final teams will be declared and everyone else will be out. Let's take a look at how this impacts the overall. There's where you see the separation. Those 5 teams, well, they're potentially out if Manitoba wins any of their games. Northern Ontario, Newfoundland, Labrador, Manitoba, and Alberta will be our final 4, but Manitoba still has to win, and that sets up a very interesting afternoon here in Ottawa.
The 2016 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of Curling Canada. The 2016 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Home Hardware, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice. By Scotties Sponge Towels, Purex, and Cashmere, proud to support the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. And by World Financial Group, helping Canadians have better financial futures.
Well, a pretty convincing win by Alberta over Team Canada. David, what's the game story?
Well, it was really Kevin Cooey. He played 100% and had a fantastic game. They led right from the very start, getting the hammer again and scoring an early deuce and putting continuous pressure on Team Canada throughout. Small mistakes by Team Canada kept creeping in and giving Alberta an opportunity to really put this game away.
The game story brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of Curling Canada. Now, one of the games that we've been following with updates this morning is Jim Cotter from BC taking on currently second place Newfoundland Labrador and Brad Gushue. And it is Jim Cotter facing a wide open house and an opportunity for 2 and a chance to tie this game.
Yeah, still putting a lot of pressure on Newfoundland Labrador. Brad Gushue just made a great double takeout to leave this open draw for 2. And certainly a shot that you wouldn't expect any mistake from Jim Cotter on.
Ron Kuhn comes out to see if he can help, jumping in with Rick Sawatsky as they guide this stone into the house. And there is your 2. And when we come back, this will be the game that we will finish with you. Currently a tie. Hammer belongs to Newfoundland and Labrador. And we have another final this morning. Handshakes over on sheet D. It is a PEI victory, 7-4 over Northwest Territories' Jamie Cooey. And that will put PEI in a great place as they look towards relegation. And we go to the other side of the building, sheet A. It is 3 Redstones belonging to Ontario in the house. Ontario trails by 2, and so for Steve Laycock, David, it is a draw for the win.
It is not an easy one. Glenn Howard just made a great hit and roll behind that guard, leaving nothing for Steve Laycock to hit. He's got to draw right to the forefoot for the win. And as we know, later in the games, that's not as easy as it is early.
Colton Flash on the left, Dallin Myers on the right, jumped on it right away.
I don't think you can hurt us. Yep, 14-9.
Well, they like it.
Go. Yep.
Now need to count the back one for the tie. And there is your draw for the victory.
Very nice.
And so Saskatchewan will take that win, 7-4 over Ontario. And Glenn Howard will finish under 500. And so as we look at the updated standings, Northern Ontario not playing this morning, still perfect. And then Brad Gushue still out on the ice. Manitoba, we've talked about them. 3 games left. They win 1 of those 3. And our final 4 will be declared. It will all be about positioning. And one of those teams that still is very much fighting to get into that 1-2 game at a 7-1 record is Brad Gushue, all tied up and has the hammer coming home.
But BC has given them everything they can handle. Starting out with 2 center guards. Jeff Walker lead for Newfoundland. Tried the tick, but a little bit heavy, went into the board, so they replaced it. So BC set up nicely. 2 guards and a rock frozen on the yellow one, top button.
Go, you got it.
Sweet, sweet. So sweet. I think so.
They have the two long guards, but did that over curl a bit, Dave?
Well, it did a little bit, but it's high enough that it makes the double run back extremely difficult. I think Brad Gushue is actually concerned that this rock right now is positioned on the button is really a problem stone. They need to make a move on it. It's going to take them 2 shots to actually do something with it. If they keep peeling the high guard, at some point Jim Cotter is going to guard at an angle and make it really difficult for Brad Gushue to get in there at all.
Brad Gushue still one of those teams with 2 games left. Will take on Adam Casey from PEI this afternoon. And will close out against undefeated Brad Jacobs tomorrow morning in the final round robin.
Hard, Jeff!
Here at the Brier.
Hard! 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 Gotta go!
Okay. Over curl to hair. It's not bad.
Good throw.
Okay.
It took the protection away from that red stone, so moving the yellow one back was really the key.
To get our yellow out of the way, we could pick it. It's not. It's a good shot. Clean.
Lots of room.
Clean.
Tons of room.
It's going to curl.
Rick, go, Rick.
Clean.
Clean.
Just clean. Whoa. It's got to sit.
Sit, baby.
Well, we've seen that a few times today where they're saying lots of room and it actually ends up over curling.
You like the same thing?
Okay.
It's a little less weight because we got to get to the nose.
Okay.
The other option, Mark, is this double peel. It might even come back and do the job for us.
Whatever you like, Brad.
Okay. I kind of like that. What turn?
A third?
What turn?
Oh, I think I got to play the in.
The in? I would think thick half, probably.
So they're going to double peel the 2 guards, and it's a good call. It's still on Mark Stones. If they played that intern tap and didn't make it perfectly, you'd see another guard go up and cause real problems. At the very least, they're going to eliminate the guards and possibly send it back onto the ones in the house.
Go hard,
Some great numbers for Mark Nichols this week. Such a great hitter. Really rounded out his game when he moved to Manitoba to play lead for Jeff Stoughton for a couple of years. Really does provide all the shots.
Not bad, I guess.
No, sorry, I missed your first. I should have kept Jeff on it. I was thinking it would finish.
That's good.
And when you said Brett, I kind of
catches both.
Okay. A little bit, but
not even.
Halfway.
It's a good shot. It's great weight. Don't want to not quite bite.
Not an easy guard either. They have to make sure that they don't over curl. There's so much late finish that they can't allow Brad Gushue to throw a back 8-foot weight to come around those guards and tap them. So it needs to be perfectly placed about half a rock to the right of the center line.
Line's good. Where is it? Keep it out there. Right here.
Keep it out there a bit.
Right here.
Line's pretty good.
It's gonna over curl. Off.
Tyrell Griffith trying to keep that stone straight out there.
Gonna over curl. Right off. Right off.
Okay.
I'll try the out turn now.
Sure.
Try this out turn now. Oh.
They covered up the easy shot, but the out turn, come around, and tap is still there.
We could probably make this, Mark. It's probably frame for us.
For Jim Cotter, lowest or second lowest in the field in terms of steals this week, just 2 to this point. Will need to bump that number to 3 if he's going to win.
Or too low, I mean.
Brad Gushue running a straight back.
Do you like this better than the draw?
I do. Yeah, I think make a shot now, potentially win the game on this shot.
Yep.
Now some great numbers from Brad Gushue. We saw that other than in last night's draw, every single game he and his
Great
team
shot.
have been 90s. Outstanding.
But didn't quite work out the way that Gushue had hoped. They left the BC Stone on the intern side. They now have a chance to come around with the out turn.
I like that better. Yeah.
Well, or the intern tap, either one.
The amount of curls.
And he catches it just that little bit too thick, gets the shot stone out, but he'll roll that shooter over to the wings. And he leaves the BC Stone biting the forefoot. Still better than right on the lid, though, Dave.
Two options. They can come around wide this way and get to the button there. Or they have the other option that they were looking at of the intern come around and tap, which actually ends up with the same result. So whichever one they actually know better and Jim's more comfortable throwing.
Right. No, even, you know, that and roll, you know, there is pretty thin double, right?
Yeah. Like that, Pat?
You got tap. Oh, I have no idea. I'd have to throw like...
You'd have to throw control weight to get there.
No. What are you thinking, like?
They seem to be on board the same shot, Dave. Just a matter of where to put the broom for the shot.
I actually think the natural shot is the out turn draw to the top button, but I think ice is dictating that. There's so much frost wide on the out turn. You heard them talking about it, saying they'd have to throw so much weight to make that shot. It's just a guess. So they're going to throw down the same path they've been throwing, the intern tap, try and get it right to button.
How's that ice look to you guys? Yeah. High 90s?
Line's good. Where is it?
Easy line.
Clean. Just clean.
Clean.
Yep. Clean. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Clean.
Get ready, SWAT.
Clean. Clean.
Clean.
Tie. Tie. Clean. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, tie. Clean. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Very nice.
Now tapped it back behind the tee line. Is that advantage to Newfoundland Labrador?
It is just a foot too heavy. If they could have stopped that top button, I'm not sure what Brad Gushue should have had. He does have the out turn draw, but as we just heard BC talking about it, that is not an easy place to throw it.
The draw you threw away from center, is that close to the weight?
I'd say that would be the most. This would be slower than that one, though.
Yeah.
For
yeah,
sure.
I know it'll be slower, but I'm thinking the same weight you threw.
Okay. I don't mind a hair more ice.
Yeah. Don't worry. Like,
the good news for Newfoundland is that as long as they get by the guard, it will curl.
Like,
Even if they're a little heavy, now they've got backing for the win.
Yeah.
Now Brad Gushue makes his way back to the hack. 12 draws. He is at 96% today, but as you say, Brian, forcing him way out.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has been perfect on his out-turn draws. Today has thrown 9 and made every single one of them. Final shot here in 10.
Oh, he didn't like his delivery, Kathy.
No, we definitely heard that.
Gotta go. Hard, Brad.
For the win.
Hard. Stay down, Brad. Hard. Stay down. Hard.
By the first guard. By the second, needs to get to the lid.
What a good shot.
That is why he is 7-1. For the win, Brad Gushue.
13.6 seconds, Kathy.
That is incredible. It is being able to judge. They talked about the weight going down, knew that it would be that little bit heavier out in the wings with the frost starting to creep in. Had to make a great shot. Great brushing by Jeff Walker, Brent Gallant. Through your training pays off.
Well, in both sweepers, head down. We haven't seen that a lot this week where they just put their heads down and go for a weight.
It's old school curling. 2 sweepers pushing hard all the way for the victory. Well, that keeps Brad Gushue in a very good spot overall in the week, right behind Northern Ontario, fighting for that top position. They will go head-to-head in the final round-robin game tomorrow. This afternoon, though, still lots of activity, and it will be Northern Ontario and Manitoba. A win by Manitoba in that game seals the deal for the top 4, and for Quebec and New Brunswick, they will continue to fight to have a chance to stay in. That game on TSN 4. We are on 1-3. Well, they came in with such high hopes this morning, Alberta. And for Pat Simmons knew that if he was going to control his destiny, he had to bring them back to the pack. Well, they worked really hard. They just weren't able to do that. Some disappointing moments for sure. And for Kevin Cooey, he is very much a part of this playoff picture. We're back this afternoon. Join us then.